Mm. Hey, what's up? I am Diamond Styles and I am going live. My shirt. Today, I want to talk about what's going on with my shirt. Okay. I want to have a discussion about Handmaid's Tale before the new season comes out next week. I want to have a deep conversation about my favorite characters from the show. And so, yes, hopefully you watch the show. And if you don't, catch up. But I still think if you don't watch a show, there's just going to be some concepts that we can explore. I just came back from an amazing event hosted by my homegirl Josie, and she hosts events at this beautiful spot called um, what is it called? The El Dorado Ballroom here in Houston. It's one of those places that's got like a tons of Black history in it. And we were in there and she was hosting a conversation about love, and it was so beautiful, like so many people in there being open and discussing love. And so I'm coming off the experience feeling really 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 good because it was a dope event. So yeah, I feel good. So I came and wanted to my talk about this. Love Handmaid's Tale. It gives me anxiety, but I can't look away. Oh, good. So you're going to be able to participate. So the first question I'm going to ask y'all is how y'all doing? Like, how has your week been? This is Friday and the week is over. You're about to enjoy your weekend. So how y'all week been before we start the conversation? Hey AJ, hey Trishawn, hey Ty, hey Miss Polk. How are y'all? How's your weekend been? My week has been pretty good, uneventful. Mhm. Make sure as you come in, you thumbs up. Is that Thai tea? It is Thai tea. Yummy, yummy Thai tea from my favorite pho restaurant. This was a busy week. I've prayed for new opportunities and now I'm overflowing. I love when that happens. When you pray for something and it comes and it's love. I was just about to play around with some songwriting, but I'm gonna listen in for a minute. Come on, songwriting. I was talking to Ty earlier this week. I recently found a hard drive that I had my laptop years ago from 2000. This is a laptop I owned from 2000 like 9 to 2014. I It was about to like, you know how the battery gets to wearing out and it's about to die, so you got to back it up real quick because you don't wait until the last minute to back the shit up. I had got this hard drive and I backed it up, and like I'm talking about last minute, like the next day, the fucking computer would not cut on. So that's how cutting it close that I was in bullshit procrastinating to get this computer backed up before it totally just died. So I backed it up. And so when I tried to open up the files on my new computer, all the regular files opened up, but the files for my garage band, it would not open my file. So all my songs, like my song ideas, were lost. And I was like, oh my God, I can't get my song. So you know how you anytime you it's kind of like you have a phone full of voice notes. Cause sometimes if I have song ideas, I'll record like like say I'm out and about and I get this melody in my head, I'll record voice notes to keep the melody so I can remember the melody, or if I have like lyric ideas or just ideas in general, even like if it's writing or if it's like video ideas, I'll just have tons of voice notes. And I'll have them organized by music ideas, content ideas, topic ideas, whatever. And so it'll be sometimes you'll just have the idea and keep it, and then you play with it on different tracks and da 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 da. Da. And so that's what this was. I had different ideas on this computer, and thinking I backed it up, and I lost all my ideas. And sometimes you're singing and recording songs, and you do stuff that you can't do again. Like sometimes I would just letting the spirit move me in a song, and I'll do this magical ass shit. And if I try to re-record it, either I'll forget what I did, or I will forget or I just can't do it because I was doing something in the moment. And it's sometimes when you try to I'm not skilled enough to where I can do something in a moment, and sometimes I can't repeat it because it was in the moment. I'm not skilled enough to do that yet or whatever. I haven't got to that level where I can just repeat it immediately all the time. Especially if I do something just out of the spirit of the emotion of what I'm recording, sometimes I just can't do it. Um and so I put it on this hard drive and I could not open it. But last week I found it. So I had forgot about it because I couldn't open it. And I had tried to open it and other stuff. Last week I found it and I plugged it into my new computer, and it was able to open up the freaking files, the new one. My old one, the old one, it just wouldn't open it up. It just kept saying, no, you can't open up this file. This file doesn't exist. And then this computer, I plugged it in and it was able to open up. So all of my song ideas that I wrote for that whole 5-year period of time was on that hard drive. And it was like, oh my God. And I could play and hear my recording and see the different harmonies and everything. And it was like, oh my God, I can't wait to share these songs. I miss these songs. It was so cute. And I was so happy. So think about losing a whole idea, a whole treasure trove of ideas that you had, and then finding it again. It felt so good. That's what you made me think about this week in songwriting. Hey, Marissa. Hey, CL. I thought I lost my fantasy novel once. I was in mourning for 3 months before my little sister found it in the clouds. Yes. Oh, let me tell another lose shit moment that I just lost it. I never get it back. But about 2 or 3 years ago, I went to the Maldives, and I went there with my gay mom. We had kind of kindled our friendship, and it was her 50th birthday. And yeah, it was like 2002, November of 2002. So it was like her 50th birthday, and we was going to the Maldives. It was sickening, and you know what I'm saying, love. So one of the issues, we're not enemies or nothing now, but we're just not close. We grew out of each other, so we don't talk anymore like that. Nothing negative, nothing. We still cool. We still like each other's posts and be cool, but we just not close. It just the the ship has sailed for our friendship to be close. It's just is what it is. We just don't mesh anymore. But one of the things about the trip that let me know that 22 2022, um one of the things that let me know that we just don't mesh anymore is while it was her birthday. So I made very sure that because this was her birthday trip. Now, mind you, I paid for it. She paid for it. I paid for it. So paying for the birthday trip, we all halved everything. So it wasn't like she paid for the trip, me to come on the trip. We all halved everything. So, but because it was for her 50th birthday, I was very, very adamant in making sure that she capsuled we capsulated the trip really, really well for her. So we made sure that she brought outfits so that she could take good pictures. We're in the Maldives. It's the tropical paradise. So I was gonna do literally, I'm really, really good at photography. So I was gonna do a whole photo shoot with her, like multiple days, da 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 da. Da. And I knew we were gonna be there for 7 days. So the first couple of days, I was going to be basically her photographer. And so we took so many pictures and blah 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 blah. And it was magical. She took so many amazing pictures, and yeah, it was great. So the problem with being a person who has an eye for taking pictures is sometimes you have a skill that your friends don't have. That's just what it is. So you taking somebody else's pictures, their pictures is going to come out amazing, and your pictures is going to come out, you know, like an amateur took them, because everybody doesn't have that kind of artful skill of taking pictures. So I'm kind of used to that. I'm kind of used to that. So I don't really ask my friends to kind of take my pictures in that way. I have learned to be kind of self-accommodating by having a tripod, setting it up, and how to take my own pictures in a way that is artful and beautiful. I have most of the pictures that I post like on my Instagram. I'm the one who took them. You just can't tell because I have positioned them in a way to make it you know, to make it look professionally and good, blah, 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 blah. So now it's time for me to take my own pictures because I'm also on a trip to the Maldives. So I want to take my own pictures. So because and sometimes people aren't as dedicated as you are to getting the right shot. So I'm sitting there, I'm standing over her in the bathtub with rose petals on her tits. I'm making sure her hair is together. I'm making sure the petals is not moving, it's covering up her cootie and the right thigh, the right amount of thighs out, covering up her flaws. I'm thinking about all the stuff. Thinking about, does your makeup look good? I'm doing your makeup for you. I'm literally the creative director of your photo shoot, blah, blah, blah. She's not going to do that same thing for me. I'm not expecting it, but I'm always in a situation where I'm not it's not going to be done the same way that I would do it. Not just because they're being shady or being selfish, they just don't have the skill to do it. It's not about them being selfish. It's about them they don't do it. They just don't they're not creative in that way. So I didn't expect it. So I had to specifically take time to take my own pictures, really find spots to do it in, and really really make these beautiful moments of at this location. And so I walked around the island and I started going to parts of the island that not that you're not supposed to go to, but it's kind of like off limits because it's more for the staff. And it's not off limits. Like you can't go to it. It's not the pretty part because they don't make it pretty because it's not for the guest. So it's like almost like there's part of the island where the staffers stay and part of the island where the the um the hotel clients stay. Like you there to have this paradise, but then the staff stay in these shacks in the back on the back side of the on the back side of the island. It's a whole culture because they have a staff. And so and these islands you have to boat to. So some people don't even boat to get to them. Like, I mean, don't leave the island. They go and be staying at the hotel, but in these like really ran down shack. It kind of reminds me of like slums in Africa. That's what it kind of looks like. Like if you go back there, it looks like these small little teeny houses that are built for them to stay in. And so I snuck around the corner and went through this little thing. And so I was over there. And so one of the things that was over there was this abandoned boat. It was like this abandoned boat. Nobody is sailing on the boat. It's just abandoned. And it's just kind of like sitting up on these kind of like bricks. And it's like red and orange striped. And the bottom of it is like the bottom, not red and orange stripe. It's like the bottom of it is red and then it has like this orange things around it. And then the little thing that's kind of like on the inside of it It's like this turquoise. So it's just a beautiful ass boat. And so on the side of the boat says glass bottom. And so I set the camera up to where my body covered up the glass. So it just said bottom on the side of the boat. So sickening. And so I'm sitting there looking sexy in this beautiful, like kind of this split is kind of up to my thigh, and I'm looking sexy, and it just my legs is out. It's just so sexy. I got long dark hair, and I'm standing up against the thing, just leaning, and just so sexy. But let me tell you what made the picture so like even more sickening. If you go to the Maldives, on the sand are those kind of crabs that find anything to usually shells, but they will find anything to put on their backs to protect them. So you know them kind of shells that kind of them kind of crabs that kind of when they get too big, they find another shell to go into. So they're all over the sand. So as you're walking in certain areas, they look like shells, but it's crabs in there. And as they're walking and walking around them, they be still. So they just like shell. They look like shells on the They look like shells on the beach. So it's like just these big conch shells, and they're not there. Some of them are big, but usually the big ones are away. But it's these really, really little ones, like really little. Like sometimes they're the size of your nail. Sometimes they're the size of this. Sometimes it's just different sizes, but you won't be able to tell until they move. So when I walk over there to the boat, I'm really not paying attention because it's nothing but shells around. And I'm like, okay, it's nothing but shells around. And so I put the camera down next to this next I put the camera down on the ground. So it's kind of pointing up like this, like up to me. And so it's just this gorgeous picture. But what I don't realize is all around the camera is those crabs, but I don't know they're crabs because they just look like rocks. And as soon as I'm taking a picture, because I'm taking picture and video, because I'm far away from them, because I got the camera set up, they think I'm ignoring them. So now I'm not a danger. So they come out of their shell and they are walking through my picture, through my video and picture, and it is snapping while these crabs, these little cute ass fucking crabs. So I'm sitting there looking sexy on this boat that says glass bottom. And these crabs are walking around the ground. So the depth of field of the crabs, it is just not powerful, but it's just a sickening ass picture that you cannot plan because it's just, it's just crazy because you can't control no fucking crabs. And so you see one kind of moving and looking at the camera, and then it's moving. So I got videos of one kind of coming across the thing while I'm sitting there fanning my hair, and it just says bottom on the thing. It's just so sexy and cute, and it's just perfect. So that it was just one of the most sickening pictures that I have ever seen in my life, of myself. And I was like, oh my God, I couldn't have planned this, because not only now I'm planning the pose and the look in the boat, but I did not know them crabs was there until I went through my phone and look. I was like, oh my God, these are crabs. Like you can see them coming out. Like first they just look like little shells on the ground, but as they feel safe, it opens up, and you see their little head and their little arms. They're like, oh, nobody's walking around, so I can move around. And you see them kind of come alive in the stage. So that's one of the pictures. And I was like, oh my God, this is when I post this is gonna kill the game, because I love posting cute pictures because it's my pictures. So I was like, oh my God, this is gonna kill the game. I ain't ever seen no picture like this. Blah 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 blah. This is gonna kill the game. Little crabs and it's so cute. It gives you the innuendo with the bottom on the side. Oh, it's so cute. I just got my life. So that was one thing. Then I go around the corner, and there's the supervisor's houses. So I just talked to y'all about how it's like little rundown little teeny homes, little shacks that the people live in. But the supervisor of the hotel, he has his own shack, but it looks like a little small house. So of course, hierarchy. He has a little small house. So he has got these like wrought iron fences around him. So up above his little, on the side of his little house is these kind of palm trees, but they got vampire bats in them. Have you ever seen a vampire bat? Let me show y'all what they look like. Vampire bats are the size of like Jack Terriers. Some of them are the size of like a Chihuahua, but size of or Jack Terriers. So they ain't small, but little baby, little teeny bats. They are big. Vampire bats.
According to Wikipedia, vampire bats, members of the subfamily Desmodontinae, are leaf-nosed bats currently found in Central and South America.
Yes. So, well, then that might be. Hold on, let me see. Bats in the Maldives. Okay, Maldivian flying foxes. That's what they were. Sorry, not vampire bats. Yes, because this is what they look like. And they are huge. So they look like this. And they are huge. They are like the size of Chihuahuas or like little Jack Russell Terrier dogs. Yes, this is exactly how they look, child. Yes, this is exactly how they look. And when they spread their wings look like that. That's a little small one. Or like that. So when they're in the tree, they look like this. So I'm sitting there and I see this little I see the it looks like Jeepers Creeper. And I see them in the tree, and they're just hanging in there, and they're just chilling. Now, mind you, they've been kind of walking around and flying around and just doing their thing. So you kind of, at first, when you first see them, you're like, but because there's so many around and not bothering you, you kind of get to the point where it's like, oh, okay, they're not bothering me, I'm not bothering them. And it's not like they get close to you where it's like, oh, and they ain't gonna let you get close to them either. So it's like we not bothering you, we not. And this is a hotel and this is the island that they live on, so they're used to people like walking through the terrace. So it's not like, almost like when you go to like a park in New York and you see the pigeons kind of just walking around people unbothered. It is exactly like that. And so he up in his little thing, and he not sleep. He kind of just looking, but he kind of upside down, just kind of da da da. So the sun is going down. So I put the camera up to where it is pointing. I'm to the side. It's to the side of me, and I'm sitting on this like stoop with the wrought iron little fence from the man house. But the bat is up there hanging upside down. So I'm sitting there like this and just looking into the sun. The sun is coming from this. It's just, and then there's some trees where the sun is kind of blocking parts of it. So it's part of my body that's kind of like in the shade, but part of it in the sunlight. And then they got this big ass bat sitting right there upside down in the picture. Sickening. He stayed still. He was just chilling. Sometimes he'll move his head, but he stayed in the right spot that gave me enough time to be able to, capture him just chilling without moving or getting scared or nothing. So it was like, perfect. And I'm looking cute in this little red outfit. It's just perfect. Then the last one is what other one did I take? The last one, I was in this tree. I don't know what kind of trees these are, but they just remind me. I don't know if y'all play the games that I play, but there is a game called Elder Scrolls that I play. I love Elder Scrolls. So, and on Elder Scrolls, you can build your own house. Like you can make your own area of the game that you can invite other gamers to. And there's tons of like housing shit that you can kind of create your own house to look like something. So as you're playing the multiplayer game, you can invite people to your house, and the other characters, other players, like human characters, can come in and see how you have decorated your house. And some people only have access to certain things if you beat certain levels. So you can have some amazing shit that nobody ever had because you beat this level. If you play MMOs like multiplayer RPGs, you will get what I'm saying. So like if you beat a certain level that nobody else has, you'll get access to certain items that you can have in your house, and those items prove the type of player that you are. So if you're able to beat these high level things to have these fucking things, then they know when they come in your house, you a bad bitch in the game because you got this, you got this, you got this. Like it indicates that you have beaten a certain level of the game. And so there is this tree in one of the areas that is in the game, but you only can get this tree if you beat a certain if you do a certain side mission. If you do a certain side mission, hey Moni, if you do a certain side mission and do a certain you know what I'm saying, you do certain shit, you get to do this. And so there is this tree that look like a tree that is kind of braided together. They call the love trees. Let me see if I can find it. Love trees on Elder Scrolls. Mm, that's not what I want. They kind of look like that. Let me go. The braided trees on Elder Scrolls in Valenwood. Let me see if I can. Is this it? No. Oh my god. I hate that I can't show y'all. But this gives you the idea of it. So y'all see this right here? You see how those trees are growing together like that? So in the game, they're called the love trees or something, where because in order for them to grow together, they had to grow together, and the longer that they're together, the more intertwined and braided they look. And that's the kind of lore of the game. You gotta play the game to understand. But these trees in the Maldives look like some fucking love trees. They look like real life love trees because their roots were entangled in each other, and they were fucking huge ass fucking trees. And I'm like, oh my God, this reminds me of love trees. And so I sit at the branch, I sit at the base of the tree, and it just looks like I am engulfed in branches all around me. Like I'm in a pod of branches. And I took some pictures there, and they just came out so beautiful because of where the sun was. And so I took these amazing pictures. So that's to me, those in my brain, in my memory, those are my favorite pictures. The one with the crabs, the one with the fruit bat, the fox bat, and then the one in this wooden pod like thing. So it just was beautiful, amazing, sickening pictures. So finally, my last one, I was going on the edge of this it's kind of like this fucking it's just kind of like this. I don't know. I don't know how to describe it. It's like a water. Think of like a cement fence that goes out into the water. And so I'm walking down, and many people was walking down the cement fence. It's about the size of a table, and you walk down it, and it gives you this beautiful view of the of the sea, of the water, of the ocean. And so I'm walking down it, and I get to the end, and I was like, oh great, I can set up my tripod right here and get like I'm like standing in the middle of the ocean, like Beyonce on Standing on the Sun. That's what it gives you, that vibe of it. So I have on this kind of flowy chiffon little light sheer ass thing. So I'm kind of doing these little motions. Child, I call myself getting on the side of the to set up the tripod to where it looked like it was supposed to look. Baby, this little part on the side was filled with green algae, and that algae is slippery as fuck. And while everything is in my hand, I don't have nothing to hold on to or grab nothing. And I slipped on this algae and went in the water, and I thought that the water in the area was like, because everybody's like standing, it's hard to explain, it doesn't look like it's deep, baby. When I fell in the water, fell and slipped and went whole full body. It wasn't deep enough for you to be like you can get out of it. And I can swim, so that's not it. But it just didn't look like it was deep. But it was enough to where when I fell down, my whole body went underwater before I hit the ground. So maybe like 7, 8 feet to where I was like fully immersed, because I'm only 5'11". So boom, went into the water, and my whole phone went into the water with me. And so of course it was not waterproof, and literally lost every one of the pictures that I took for those whole 4 hours because I dunked in the water, and got a, a scar. Do y'all see this scar right there on my leg? There's like this whole scar right there because I fell down. My whole leg scraped the side of the little cement wall, and baby, scarred my leg, and it just now is getting light. It was super dark on my leg, but now it's just now healing itself. So that's a good thing. So yeah, that's a blessing. But I lost all of my pictures. Lost all of my pictures. Those were my sickening pictures. And so I was like, oh, but I have my stuff backed up. So I'm the type of person that I have my stuff automatically backed up if once I take the picture. But what I didn't realize, it automatically backs up only if you go to how my phone was set up, only if when you actually go to the app. So for example, like when you when I go to my photos, it doesn't back it up until I hit go to photos. So like say that I take snap, and take the picture, it doesn't back it up that those pictures until you go to like photos and click photos, then it updates to where all your new pictures are saved. But you have to go to it. So because I was just taking the pictures and going on about my business, finding another spot, I never went to the photo app. So it didn't back them up. So the fucking phone was dead. The fucking phone was dead, would not cut back on, water damage, water damage, water damage. And so I lost all the amazing Maldives pictures that I had. So it was literally only a moment that I was able to enjoy that I wasn't able to share with other people. So I had lost all my sickening Maldives pictures, all my sickening ones. And I was like, oh my fucking God. I was so mad that I think about it a lot because those pictures was like, because I of course I can go back there again, but because the trip was so expensive, and there's other places that I want to go, I'm probably never gonna go back to, unless back to that island. At least if I go to the Maldives, I'm probably gonna go to another island, not that one particularly. So I just know I probably never will go back there. But and then is the boat gonna be there? Is the crabs gonna be there? You know what I'm saying? It just was one of them moments that you like, oh, the bat ain't gonna be there. It was like, oh my God, I can't believe I messed up my fucking picture trying to get the perfect shot. But the blessing of that I did get, if you go to my Instagram, we about to start the conversation. Damn, I've been talking about this for 30 minutes. The blessing that I did get was I did get this picture. I look sickening. Work. Laying on the clear beach, baby. I did get this picture. I get this video. I love it. You can watch that on my Instagram if you want to watch. It just was a perfect little video that I loved. I loved it. I was catching the vibes, and then I got this picture sitting on the bungalows, looking sickening thick and fine. Period. Then I got this one. I had bought that dress just for this moment, so I can walk down the bungalows and get my life and be a big girl, thick, ready. And then, oh, this is it. This is what I'm talking about. So that right there, that is what I was on. You can't see the end of it, but that's what I was on. So you see how right here, this is literally it. So you see like right here, you see sand right here where it looks like you can just walk. It's going to be water, but it's not going to be deep. Baby, that shit drops down. When you get to the end of this thing right here, this little cement thing, my body is blocking it, but that's the thing. That's the thing I fell off of. But it's like a drop I didn't expect because I slipped on the fucking what you call it. I thought at least if I would have fell, I thought that I was gonna be like just like knee deep in the water. But baby, honey, she said, no, baby, this is optical illusions. We is we is deep over here. Then this is one of my favorite things. I got up early in the morning so that the dude who had the drone camera, because I had never done a drone camera, and the dude he charged us $70. Me and my gay mom, $70 to do a whole photo shoot or whatever. So 35 for me, 35 for her. And I was like, and I was kind of over her because I had already done her all the stuff for her and she was getting on my nerves. I was done being creative director for her because it was like, oh, you being weird. So I'm not about to do that. So when it was time for her to do her photo shoot with him with the drones, I left and didn't stay there. I left and was like, all right, here you go. Let him, because she thought that I was going to come and be creative director. No, you being weird. So I'm not about to be slaving myself for your photo shoot. I'm about to figure out my own photo shoot. So I let him navigate her little situation. And it came out pretty, but it came out boring. So this is mine. Because I got up in the morning where nobody was up on the island. So it looks like you're on a private island by yourself. So that's me sitting in the middle of the ocean, in the middle of the beach. Nobody there. And he just do this turnaround while I'm sitting on the ocean. That girl, baby. And ain't nobody on the beach. And then he comes above me. And look at that real water coming in perfectly around my whole body. Nobody on the beach. Sickening. And it just comes up out of the water and be sickening like that. Child! You couldn't pay for the water to be perfect. It does a perfect swirl around my body. Nobody is on the beach. It looks like I'm there by myself, the goddess, baby. Dang, baby, you couldn't plan it because nobody was walking, nobody was nothing. It was in the morning, so everybody was in their fucking room. Thank you. But it looked so sickening. I got my whole life. So yeah, it was so dope. So that gives you an idea of how fucking it just was so perfect. Ooh, I love these pictures too. It's so cute. I love these pictures. Loved them. So anyway, yeah. So I had taken all the most sickening pictures by myself. Had my tripod ready. It was so good, and I lost them fucking pictures on my fucking phone. But now, because of that, when I take pictures, I immediately hit, when I'm done taking them, I immediately hit my phone, my photo app, so it can upload them, it can back them up. And so, taught lesson is about lesson. And so I paid the price in that sickening ass that would have been probably the favorite picture of my life with them fucking crabs. Because that picture was so sickening. It was so love. But anyway, all right, let's get to the subject. We done 40 minutes talking about losing shit. Ugh, devastated. But all right, so what I wanted to ask y'all, Um, all right, so we wanted to talk about Handmaid's Tale. Who watches Handmaid's Tale? Like, are y'all caught up? Did y'all start watching it? Did y'all stop watching it? I know a lot of people I know stopped watching it because they was like, "Oh, this is too traumatizing," and blah 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 blah. Blah. Oh, child, the life is traumatizing, baby. This, at least we know this is fake. So I wanted to ask y'all. Just started and almost to the end of the first season. Oh, you got a lot. Please catch up because I want to talk about the last season. So season 6 comes out on the 7th. Season 6 comes out on the 8th. So it's the final season of the whole show. So this is the end. And they said on the 8th, they're releasing 3 of the episodes all at one time, which I love. Because I love to binge. So yes, because if I want to talk about it, I want y'all to know the tea. I binge all 6 seasons in a week. Word. It's so good. Listen, I know this may be a stretch for y'all, but it's not a stretch for me. This is one of my favorite shows of all times. This is like up there with Game of Thrones for me. Like, this is like one of those shit that I like to talk about. Y'all know how I am. I'm a feminist bitch. I want to talk about patriarchy. I want to talk about relationships. I want to talk about love. I want to talk about shit like that. Women and shit like that. I want to talk about queer shit. I want to talk about that. And this encompasses so many things. So yes. So who are y'all? If y'all had to create, and when I say I want y'all to tell me who are y'all top 3. If you had top 3, who are it's below Game of Thrones, but still very good. So is it below Game of Thrones? I don't know. I don't want to say below. I can't have a below and a higher or lower for me because I like them for 2 very different reasons. Similar, but 2 very different reasons. I really like both of them for different reasons. But if y'all had top 3, and it's not favorite because you like them, but favorite because you like the character they play. Who are your top 3 characters of the show of Handmaid's Tale? And I'm gonna give y'all my top 3, and I'm gonna kind of break them down to me, why I like them as a character in my notes in talking about them. I'm prepared for the worst. I need Serena to be thoroughly gathered. I feel like last season Serena got gathered. I feel like last season 5, she got gathered. Not gathered to the way I want her to get gathered. I feel like more is gonna come. I need her to be wore out. But I feel like the gathering already happened, but I need the wear out to happen. I feel like Commander Lawrence gathered her in that scene when she was in jail and she had to tell her, bitch, you about to be a handmaid, girl. You done proved that you can have babies. What do we do with the girls that can have babies? They handmaids, ain't that wives, babe? But yes, who are your 3 favorite characters of the show? If you watch, who are your 3 favorite characters? And it don't mean you gotta like them, but just like, oh, they're the most interesting. Get the red cake ready, Serena. Right. Miss Thing said, I am not a handmaid. And Commander Lawrence was like, you don't see the irony. And then when June came to visit her and she was like, how did you survive me? She was like, what would you do in my situation? And she was like, just like I did with you, bitch. You gotta pretend that you one of the girls, and the whole time you plotting your revenge, bitch. That was the moment. It was so sickly to me. I live for that part. Who's the crazy one? I like her a lot. The crazy one. The crazy one is that Janine with that got her eye wore out. Janine, that's the crazy one because she's a crazy one to me. Moira and Dr. Emily and Rita are my faves. Oh, those are sweet. You got sweet characters. You got the sweet characters. I don't be liking the sweet characters. The sweet characters be getting on my nerves. Even though Emily turned up for a little bit, Emily did turn up. Emily turned up for a little bit, and I live for when she turned up and wore Miss Lydia out. Somebody said Aunt Lydia is a mess. Who else? Y'all top three. Like if you had to pick your top three, who would be your top three? So who? Okay, so you got Janine. Who else, Rockwell? I like Game of Thrones more in entertainment level, but I like Handmaid in terms of message and theme. That's what it is. That's what it is. It's just two different. But I also like the message and theme of Game of Thrones because my favorite character of Game of Thrones was Cersei. Cersei is one of the best villains of all times to me. Best television villains of all times. Like she up there with Ursula for me. Emily never let them break her. I love that about her. But we not talk about Game of Thrones. But I love Cersei. I think it says you're loyal. At the end of the day, if you think about Cersei, when you get Game of Thrones, I get excited. At the end of the day, if you take the ruthlessness, the evil ruthlessness out of Cersei and take her out of upper class, because we're positioned to not like upper class because they're privileged. But if you take that out, the ruthlessness of her and upper class, and put her in a lower class, and she has the same ruthlessness and tenacity, you wouldn't be mad at her because Cersei is just fiercely loyal to her family and keeping her position. If you just pay attention to her, she's just loyal to her family. She wants to keep her position. She's actually one of the Lannister kids. She said it in one of the episodes. I'm the one who did what I was supposed to do as a girl. You giving all the attention to your boys. Of course, you didn't care about the fucking dwarf one, but Jamie, you giving all the attention so he can be this warrior fucking swordsman, blah 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 blah. But I'm the bitch that gave us the power, this puss over here. And I did my job. I just can't fight, but I did my job to position us in the best place we supposed to be. I'm the fucking queen. And if you would listen to me, shit can go different. But y'all not listening to me because I'm a woman. But I want to keep my son safe. I want to keep our position safe. And so I'm doing what I can to keep our position safe. So she was fiercely loyal to her family. You know, it was a different time, baby. Sometimes you fall in love with your brother. You know, to keep the bloodline real blue, real thick. It's divine order, baby. So let's see. I feel like she did what anybody honestly do with their family, but she just owned it and had no shame. Yes, that's what it is. It was ruthless. Ruthless. It reminds me of that that picture of Minnie Riperton where she's sitting next to the lion, and she has that gown on, and she's sitting in a chair with those baby breaths, and the caption says, I feel like I'm the most softest and ruthless I have ever been in my life. And it's so sickening. I love that picture. But yes, on Handmaid's Tale, my favorite characters, I want to go through each one because I want to see if who y'all think let me say this. Who do y'all think my favorite characters are? If y'all had to guess all three, hey Tim, if y'all had to guess all three of my characters that I would think are sickening, and not they're good people or bad people, it's just that their story is the best story of the fucking show. Who do y'all think my favorite characters are? June has to be one of your favorites, of course. Okay. June, who else? One has to be Aunt Lydia. Okay. And don't narrow it down to just the don't narrow it down just to the main characters. Just some small characters that I really, really like too. Maybe Serena Joy. I feel like her and Cersei have some similarities. In villain, sure, but I think one is under no delusion. I don't think Cersei was under any delusion of the place she sits in the patriarchy. I feel like Cersei knew this is a man's world, and I'm not under any delusion that I won't get fucked over in this situation if I let him fuck me over. Serena is under a delusion, I think. A white feminist, a white conservative woman's delusion. I think, yeah. She didn't think that they were going to cut her fucking finger off. That's what I'm talking about. Cersei knew that if she got out of line, she will wear their ass out. She'll get wore out by the men. By the men in power. Now, I don't think she felt that some weak people like peasants, like the sparrows. I didn't think she was thinking that the sparrows was gonna wear her out, but the men in power, I think she knew that women are expendable. So you gotta tread lightly with these motherfuckers. I never rooted for Serena after that moment when she screamed at June on the floor. Cersei cuts the fingers, not the other way around. She blew up the whole Red Keep to get rid of enemies. My girl. My moment. Baby, it was 2 moments in the show that I was like, Cersei is my motherfucking bitch. That moment for sure. Rest in peace, Marjorie, and rest in peace of that weak ass son. When he jumped out that window, it gagged me when I first watched it. It gagged me, but it made me angry. I was like, yo, mama protected the fuck out of you, and she's sitting there. She done blew up this whole fucking place to make sure y'all keep y'all fucking spot to get her venge back. You the fucking king. She done fucking, and you jump out the window over these motherfuckers, over either Marge or whoever you was fucking worried about. You jumped out the window? You weak ass pussy ass nigga. It pissed me off. But at the same, because if you remember that episode, it happened so like it happened right after. As soon as the fucking blow up happened, he jumps out the fucking window. So it's like all these emotions happen at one time. Oh my God. I was like, oh, you stupid bitch. You stupid ass nigga. So now the daughter done got killed. The fucking two sons done got killed. And here she go. Like she out on a limb. I'm living in the again. Whatever. Hated it. And then the second moment that I was like, Cersei is a bad bitch. She was so sad for Joffrey and her daughter, but she didn't seem that torn up about Torment because he was a weak ass bitch. Fuck him. She had got to the point where you disloyal. Like I raised you to be a weak. She done raised a villain, and then a weak pussy. Like, oh God. Late. Nobody with no tenacity. Ugh. I hated that shit. But another moment that was so sickening that I was like, oh, you know, Cersei is a bad bitch. It wasn't as sickening as that moment. That moment was the moment. But another moment where you knew Cersei was a bad bitch is when she was with Littlefinger and she was walking with her guards and Littlefinger was trying to get smart and shit to her, talking about information is power and blah blah blah, trying to hint to her that I'll tell the people that you fucking your husband, baby. You fucking your brother, baby. Blah 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 blah. And them kids might be his kids. Blah 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 blah. Information about. She said, "Oh, cut his throat." And they got him neck hemmed up, and he was like, "Wait. Power is power, baby." Power is power, and don't you forget it. Since you got your degree and you know every motherfucking thing. Since you got your degree and you know every motherfucking thing, since information is power, let me give you some information. Power is power, ho. You can't do nothing to me. That information is dead if you dead, bitch. I got my whole life with that. That was my sickening. And then how annoying fucking Sansa was. My worst character on Game of Thrones is Sansa. Sansa, however you say her name. Oh my God. You ain't got no fight in you until the end. Baby, Sansa got on my fucking nerves so bad. You ain't got no fight in you. None. When Ned got killed, I understand she seemed like she was looking young. But when Littlefinger took her to fucking to the lady, her auntie at the Vale, baby, I would have twirled auntie, baby. Bitch, fuck you. I would have twirled her. Auntie at the Vale would have got twirled. And if I'm stuck in this fucking this castle with this nigga raping me, baby, I might as well die, baby. Let's go ahead and get up at it. Kill me. Wear me out. Because I would have felt like helpless. But I guess it worked for her. She did survive. So anyway. So yeah. My favorite character was Cersei. My second favorite was Arya, honey. Was it Arya? Yeah, Arya. That was my second favorite character. I hated Sansa and I hated Jon Snow. But she just wasn't one of those girls, honey. She didn't have no fight in her. She thought she was gonna be a princess baby. Anyway, back to Game of Thrones. Jon Snow came back to life to what? To kill Dany. Of you've been a good nigga. You've been the why I hated the ending. You've been a good dude this whole time to the detriment of so many people. You've been the good Samaritan ass nigga, the loyal to the oath ass nigga, loyal by default, loyal to the point of harming everybody. And all of a sudden, when the shit is over, you kill Dany? What? Bitch, what? Jon is the reason Daenerys first dragon killed. Because she came to help him, of course. I don't want to say the reason, but she came to battle, baby, and honey, she got killed. But yeah, Dany came and saved you on multiple occasions. And once she found out that you was that you literally was the heir, bitch, she really could have slayed you, ho. If she was Cersei, she could have slayed you. But y'all could have been kings and queens and got your life. It was the perfect solution. Now I understand that folks is mad that Dany blew up burned up this little city. I understand. That was kind of a little extra. But wouldn't be no city to burn up if it wasn't for her. Honey, I got a little mad. I got a little mad and burned some shit up. But we good. I forgave them with the new series Uncle Husband. It was, keep the bloodline thick. All right, so back to Handmaid's Tale. We have Game of Thrones. All right, so let's see. So let's talk about this one is easy. So my three favorite characters of the thing is Serena Joy. Because while June is the main story, June, I usually don't be liking the main stories. Like most shows, like if I go back to like Orange is the New Black, like Piper, I hate the main story character because they get on my fucking nerves. And June is like that. White women main characters annoy me. June, of course, is the main character, blah, blah, blah. She pushes the story along. I get it. But I don't be liking June like that. I feel like the real story that is the learning lesson of Handmaid's Tale is Serena. Because, of course, June is the free girl. She dating the black boy. She took somebody's husband. Of course, we gonna be on her side. She's the sinner turned into a Handmaid's Tale who is fighting against this system. Duh. Of course, we gonna be rooting for her character. But Serena is the lesson that the real world, in real life needs to learn. Serena is the lesson because she is somebody who is complacent. I don't even want to say she's complacent because she's active in it. She's invested in the patriarchy in a way that puts her at a position of power where she thinks that she's protected, not understanding that it can gobble you up too. So I wrote some notes. So of course Serena is a controversial character of the show. She's a woman who um she is both victimized and complacent in the theocracy of the patriarchy and the theocracy of this system that they have created in Gilead. So she was a part of the voice to make it come to life. She is positioned herself as the side person to the commanders. Um I feel like while it also is portrayed as like this tragic and complex situation, um it really interrogates the role of white femininity in holding up white supremacist patriarchy. Like it is the shining, glaring, clear moment, the clear character that is like, this is what white femininity does in the narrative of white supremacy. Like literally, she is the perfect shining example of that, who is holding up white supremacy. Um, when we think about like black feminist authors like Bell Hooks and Angela Davis and Sadida Hartman, um, Serena is not like a she's not like a fallen like woman. She's kind of like a she's not like a fallen woman that has fallen prey to the system, some like weird like reluctant participant. She's not a reluctant participant. She is a active participant. She is a co-architect. She architects the violence of the whole system. Like she embodies the dangerous power. She just her as a character like embodies the danger and power of white womanhood in a system that oppresses people. Like she is that. She's not giving what June. They have positioned June almost as honey, and they people jokingly talk about it as the Harriet Tubman of fucking a fucking Handmaid's Tale, which is kind of like there's a black woman is a black erasure there, because if you know the history of Margaret Atwood, she says I didn't put anything in the story that did not already happen. So while the story of Handmaid's Tale is set in a dystopian place that doesn't exist in the future, everything that I put in here has happened to somebody. It has happened to people. It already happened before in our humanity. She was very, very clear about putting things that you find shocking. This is shocking. It actually already happened. So she was very, very clear about that. So to me, Serena kind of embodies that dangerous historical power of white womanhood that aligns that aligned with racial and gendered oppression. Okay. Serena also, she was like listen, so if you think about Serena, that kind of in Gilead, her like suffering is like real as hell. So suffering in the sense of she lost her autonomy, she lost her voice, she lost her reproductive agency. Um, it literally is another example of the subjugation of women. Um, what we gotta ask is, why is Serena's suffering depicted in relation to June? Why is June the mirror in this story? Like if you looking at it this from a black lens and the erasure. Now, Margaret Atwood again letting us know the purpose of her book. This is a white woman talking about why she did her book the way she did. And so when people used to complain in the early sense, like there ain't no black people, and the reason why it's not black people, that's intentional and it makes totally sense. Baby, if we had conservative come to power where they can kill people and hang people and da da da, do you think it would be a lot of black people around? If they come, if conservative came back into power where they are where they're allowed to martial law kill people without immunity, do you think it'll be a lot of black people? Do y'all think so? Or no? Do you think that they would have got a lot of people together? Y'all quiet. We would become illegal. Purge. Mm-hmm. For sure. Absolutely. It wouldn't be no queer people. They called them gender traitors. So of course the gays would be dead. So, but how do we examine her her suffering in contrast to June's? It makes her feel like she is she's like she has a long, like, to me, what Serena represents is this like kind of long history of white women wielding their positionality as both oppressed and oppressor. And this depiction of Serena is a clear depiction of somebody who is privileged and oppressed. Like they both, she is the oppressor and she oppresses people. Like they literally, you literally holding women down when they get raped. Um just like white women during slavery and Jim Crow. Serena benefits from and upholds a system of brutal control over other women. Um, but she simultaneously garners the sympathy because which have they kind of own restrictions in regards to that. Her participation in Gilead kind of, with the enforcement of the laws, um, and and bending the rules, bending the rules to fit her narrative. Because if you remember, she loves to play like I'm this upstanding wife following the rules of Gilead. But when you was having Nick have sex with June because you knew your man was sterile, when you weren't worried about breaking the rules when you was trying to have this baby so you can raise a baby. So you don't really care about rules until it benefits. If it doesn't benefit you, then it's like the rules, the rules, the rules, the rules. But you don't mind breaking the rules when it's beneficial to you. Super, super wielding oppressor, and that kind of fake churchy shit that motherfuckers do. Perfect representation of how motherfuckers will do. Like, and it's not just women, but definitely white women. The men too. Like, y'all love to everybody follow these godly rules, but then y'all done created the Jezebel house. So y'all don't really care about the rules. This ain't got nothing to do with the rules. With the God and the religious part of it. You are just trying to keep power, hold on to power and keep power. This ain't got nothing to do with the rules. Thumbs up if you're watching. This ain't got nothing to do with the rules. So, I know, like in the past, and what's crazy is we see it in the show. White women's pain has always been used as kind of like a propaganda tool. Their pain or their subjugation has always been this kind of tool to be like political narratives to justify violence against other people, other women. We are protecting the chastity of white women's womanhood by making sure she's not um taken over and raped by the brutes that is black men, or influenced by the over hypersexual sexual nature of black women, and having them. And if you remember back in the day, or like in New Orleans, they made laws to where the black women had to cover their hair because they were getting too fancy, and they needed something to distinct them from white women and make sure that they are not in the upper class. And so the law was black women could not have their hair out, and so they had to have it in headdresses and blah 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 blah. And those are that is a propaganda policy, blah 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 blah, to keep white women in one place and black women in another. These are just historical examples. And so white women have always been, and this is just the sanctity of society. This is to keep you get what I'm saying? They always made it seem like it was to keep the sanctity of society. So also Serena, the thing about Serena is her obsession with reproductive. As a trans woman, you're not reproduction and baby making is thrown in our face because you don't have a vagina, you can't make babies, you're not a woman. Me, as a trans woman who wasn't born with a vagina, I don't have investment in having babies in the way that somebody maybe born with a vagina might have. Child, I don't care about no damn babies. I don't want no period. Y'all fucking bleeding for 7 days or less or whatever every month. I don't want none of that shit. That's something I ain't never wanted, ain't never desired or ever. I'll be like, girl, I don't want none of that. And so having babies, that just never has been something I'm super, super invested in. So when people try to hit you with, you ain't got no period, you ain't got no babies, I'll be like, girl, I don't want that. I don't want that. But somebody that is a cisgender woman who has a vagina that can't have babies, I can only imagine that, oh my God, I was born with the parts. I was born with the parts. Why is this shirt giving me wear me out? I was born with the parts and I can't have a baby. I can imagine for an insecure person in a society that has put women in the position where your only value to society is to have babies and you can't have one, especially a super, super patriarchal society. They in a patriarchal society, like your job as a woman is to have babies and to be a mother and to, you get what I'm saying? That is the stuff that you are supposed to do. And you can't do it. Like that to them, when they talk about motherhood, that is a woman's job. Like, what? That is your job, darling. Like there's no other greater privilege, and they turn motherhood into this magical thing that is divine, and oh, it's the greatest gift in the world, while simultaneously saying that it is a punishment, Eve's punishment. You got a period and labor pains because this is the punishment of Eve from eating the apple. Like literally, like understand the crazy dichotomy that is in a conservative biblical theological mind, like what they think about motherhood, how they try to sell it. For one thing, it's the greatest, 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 greatest. But then the other end is like, oh, this is punishment, Eve's punishment. Since she is the mother all of humanity, all of you will be punished with labor pains. And so if you can't do that, you're less than a woman. Isn't that crazy? That's just crazy. So Serena also taking my fiber pills. Make sure your hose is clean. Y'all take your fiber, baby. So she represents this kind of she also, because she represents that, her obsession with that, it makes me think about that. But she also represents, like, there is a clear correlation between the reproductive rights of like slaves and shits, because like she's literally about to make this girl have a baby and take her as her own, to pretend that this is her baby, and literally using, because you can't have no kids, you're literally using my body, my body for the benefit of yours, and forcing me to do it. That is crazy. They were supposed to give me some bobo. They didn't give me no bobo today. Boba. And last but not least, um, okay, as we get to the later seasons of Serena, there is like which is what we were talking about other, like who was it? Was it RL? Who said that? Or Rockwell? Who said that they want Serena to get slayed? Somebody said they wanted Serena to get slayed. Trishan said, I need Serena to get gathered. Yes, Trishan said um Trishan said, yeah, because this is another problem. So, which is why I said the last season, season 5, she got gathered. Like it was at first they were kind of, there was some kind of redemptive thing that they were trying to do with Serena. Like there was like a redemption that was without reckoning. I need a reckoning for Serena. No fucking redemption. She needs a reckoning. And so I feel like because she they are trying to gesture towards this redemption for Serena through her moments of regret, through her love of Nicole the baby, and then her eventual like defiance of Gilead. So they're using these moments of redemption with her, where no, yeah, y'all trying to gesture towards redemption, but there needs to be a reckoning. I want Serena sliding down the wall, no hope, only despair. See, that's what I feel like is happening in season 5. But there, well, yeah, I guess the hope is June telling her you got to be like I did, and when you saw I done came out on top, maybe you could come out on top. So that is a little bit of hope. I need a reckoning with no hope. So yes, I agree. I need no hope, baby. And so yes, there's like this redemption thing that they are having, and I don't like that. What I want you to understand, why I say she's having a redemption without reckoning. I don't want y'all to confuse while watching the show. I don't want y'all to confuse emotional vulnerability with accountability. So her being emotionally vulnerable because she's being harmed by the system that she helped create, I don't give a fuck about your tears. I don't care. I want you accountable. And you getting harmed, you getting your little finger cut off, you getting harmed, but you're still playing the game. It doesn't make me feel good about you. Like, it's not any kind of reckoning. She need the REIT treatment. Period. So it doesn't make me feel good about you. I don't care. It's still no accountability. You getting wore out by a system that you created. As a black woman, a black trans woman, I know how the system works. And so you getting wore out, it kind of makes me feel about these Latino immigrants. It makes me feel about the white women who are getting not killed, but who are getting wore out by the doctors because they having these bad ectopic pregnancies, and damn, they're losing their lives, and they're losing you get what I'm saying? They're not being able to have no children because the doctor ain't doing no abortion on them, and blah blah blah. All these, and I'm like, sweetie, this is what y'all voted for. I'm not about to see you sitting here crying. Oh, my abuela got deported. I didn't think he was gonna do it to us. Oh my God, they're locking me up in the El Salvadoran prison. Oh my God, in the detention centers with no food and water. Do I feel bad for you? Yeah. Do I think what they're doing is wrong? Yes. Do I feel bad for you? That's a stretch. Do I think what they're doing is wrong? Yes. Clear yes. But you people that voted for him, I ain't feeling bad for you. This is what you voted for. I'm going to say, oh my God, you're so lucky. I wish I was getting what I voted for. You're getting what you voted for. That's what I think. Them Cubans that's getting deported in Florida, getting sent to El Salvadoran prisons. Now, this ain't the same thing, but even them pro-Palestine people that's getting arrested, them motherfuckers that's getting wore out, but they were very adamant in speaking up against Kamala Harris to get people not to go vote for her. You thought Trump was going to be different? You thought Trump was going to be better? When we told you, baby, we not voting because we agree with Kamala. We're voting for Kamala because she's a better, she's the easier dragon to slay. I talk about this in one of my episodes before the election. It's like you playing a video game, because I play video games. So, child, this is how I think. They tell you to go get this little thing, and it'll weaken the dragon, or this one little thing that if you come to it without the thing, then boom, you got a 3-headed dragon with fire, and this one got ice, and this one got poison. And they're coming at you, and you got to fight. It's a hard battle. But if you go get this little thing, this little bracelet, as soon as you come in the dungeon with the 3-headed dragon, this bracelet booms and kills one head. And so now you got a 2-headed dragon, one that's doing ice and one that's doing some poison, or whatever one dies. So now you have made it an easier fight. There's still a dragon you gotta fight. When it comes to this particular issue, it's still a dragon you gotta fight. When we talking about colonization and what's happening over in Israel against Palestine, we are the US. We are Americans. So we are on the side of the oppressor. And so if we're trying to stop the US from doing what they're doing over there in Israel, Palestine, we can't, it's the easier person to move would have been Kamala, not Donald Trump. They both gonna be doing late shit. But the easier, reasonable person to fucking move, if we're gonna move anyhow to a ceasefire, blah, 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 it's gonna be her. Now we fighting on all kinds of battles. They fucking firing people on all kinds of jobs. It's all kinds of stuff. And so your ass was out here talking against her during an election. Did that help you? Where are you people? Where are you pro-Palestine people? I'm pro-Palestine. But I knew that she would have been a better. I know that I'm going to be fighting against the administration either way, but I'd much rather fight against a Republican administration, against a Democratic administration than a Republican administration, because they're going to be doing all kind of other crazy stuff, like dismantling the Department of Education. I know Democrats weren't going to be doing that. They would have just been wearing out Palestine or whatever stuff that they're doing. But now I got to worry about you wearing out Palestine and what's going on in the home front. So now have you heard anything about Palestine? We too busy worrying about Teslas getting burned down. Worried about every people getting fired from jobs. Like ain't nobody talking about no damn Palestine no more. Are they still getting wore out? Sure. They still over there getting pressured to give up their land? Yep. Imagine you voted for the person that ended up firing you. Child. Imagine you voting for the person that cut your veteran benefits. And you an old white veteran. A veteran Republican. Do I feel sorry for you? No. Is it wrong? Yes, but I don't feel sorry for you. I wish I was getting what I voted for. So anyway. So I need Serena to have a reckoning, because we love to kind of romanticize their alignment, like, oh my God, they have it so hard. It's so difficult in their position. We love to romanticize their situation, but that complexity we never give to women of color, particularly Black women. I don't know why I said women of color. I hate saying that, but Black women particularly. We don't ever give that. We kind of deny the possibility of that kind of complexity when it comes to our errors in making these bad decisions, in making this system work for us. So think about women who this ain't got nothing to do with it, but kinda. Follow me. Okay? I wanted to talk about this another time, but I'm gonna bring it up here. We can go deeper some other time. Like, have y'all heard about the little basketball player who, this is not true, but this is the rumor mill that's happening now, where he's talking about offering paying child support up front for 18 years for his baby, so he don't have nothing to do with his baby. And everybody is dragging the girl because, oh, she's a gold digger. Y'all done heard that story? The little The little groupie girl that got the baby by the two. One is a rapper and one is a baby. Is a basketball player. Mm-hmm. So, regardless of how you think about how she's playing the game, regardless of how you think about it, I think one of the stories is he paid for her an abortion and she didn't get the abortion. So you're making the decision to have a baby without him, which I think is so stupid and late. All of this is so dumb. She gets to change her mind about her body. Um, when since you don't carry the babies, your decision making starts when you put your penis into a vagina raw and you decide to come in it, like you decide to bust a nut in it without a condom. You decide right at that moment that whatever the consequences are of you do or of you choosing this, you are ready for those consequences. Whether it be getting scammed by a groupie, whether it being stuck in a relationship with a child that you don't want, or having to make the decision to abandon a child that you don't want, whatever can happen once the baby is conceived because you made the choice to put your dick in a vagina, because this is the element, and it's not about her not being accountable. If I want to talk to her about her shit, we can talk to her about her shit, but at the end of the day, it takes two people to tango, and you women in all of history have been using their coochies as power for money and power all the time. Think of the Boleyn sisters, Elizabeth's mama, Anne Boleyn. Women have been using their coochies for power, especially in a time when we didn't have what we have now. They've been making babies in coochie to get a leg up in society or to get in a position of power forever. It's not new, it's not fresh. And as a celebrity and as a basketball player, you know going into the game that this is what women are going to be after, and you love it until they love having access to these bitches. With the money, when they get the money, they love having access that it brings the bitches to them. But when the bitches is coming after the money, all of a sudden it's a problem. When you want to use money to get women, it's not a problem. But when the women is like, I want to get money out of you, now it's like, oh my God. Even though that has been a part of the game, being a rich man or a man with resources, that is a part of the game. That everybody warned you about, tells you about, you know it's happening. So you out here raw dogging pretty girls who know you got money. And she already got a rich baby daddy. And you want me to take you off the accountability block in your decision-making skills. Sorry, babe, I can't do it. Can't do it. But we don't give that same grace to Black women when they're in these positions of using their body to make power moves. And power moves being, I have changed my life. I not only have a rich baby daddy over here for my first baby, I now have a basketball player rich baby daddy too. And I'm using this money that I'm getting from both of these niggas to open up businesses. That's what she's doing. So, oh, you're creating broken homes. Bitch, fuck you. I can buy my baby therapy. But you know what my baby will have? College tuition, money for therapy if this gonna be his thing. Or I could give me a whole new man because now I got security. So I can have a man in the house getting us like he got a stepdad now. But what I position myself, I use my coochie unlike you other bitches. And she did a clapback. Talk about if I'm digging for gold, what you bitches with broke baby daddies was digging for? Poverty. So for me, I think we don't give those type of women who play the game, that those hyper, I think it's called now dark femininity. That kind of Shira Sevens of the world, who is teaching women how to play the game within the game. It's a dangerous game because, honey, it can be a golden cage, but for many, it does work out playing the game like that. And sometimes I think ethics can stop people from having opportunities. And sometimes people say, fuck them ethics. Let me get on top and then I'll figure it out. They have people that talk to rookies about this. Yes, they get a warning all the time. So somebody like Serena, a white woman, is granted depth and nuance that is rarely afforded to black women. Then the women who, like, we suffer the most in the system that we are in, but it's usually the white woman with their elegance, with the tears, even with her contradictions. All that, the tears, the elegance, her trying to be presentable all the time. They use that in when it comes to white womanhood in a patriarchal world. They use those things to humanize her. But it's almost like a hollow human, because if you ain't got no accountability, are you really human? Like, yeah, you giving me these tears, Serena. Yeah, you're giving me this elegance and this beatness, because Serena be beat to me. I live for her. When she come and she be in the green gowns and shit, in the green coats, and she's coming and giving this elegance and this kind of level of sophistication. You know, I'm a church girl at heart, so I love a first lady moment where you're coming in sitting with Grace Kelly and just grace and regalness. I live for that. It's something that I'm gonna always live for the rest of my life, and I think it's a residual of churchy. So I always respect a lady, and not lady as in like a woman, but lady as in that kind of sophisticated, elegant, upscale woman. That lady is something that I aspire to be. It is something that I always admire, and it's something that's kind of just ingrained in my head to admire. And so somebody like Serena, who is giving this lady, the lady image, it humanizes Melania. Yes. And that one thing about Melania is I be thinking she be sickening. I'm like, I love Michelle Obama, but the most sickening president, the first lady, is motherfucking, oh my God. That motherfucker Melania be beat. My type of beat. Oh my God. Melania be sickening. Melania be sickening in regards to her fashion. She be when she came with that motherfucking baby blue on, oh my God. Was it the first inauguration? That baby blue was sickening. I love Michelle Obama. I love Michelle Obama's fashion in the second term. Cause she was able, cause she knew she wasn't gonna get another term. She was able to let loose and be whatever the fuck she wanted to be. She already got the presidency, child. That first that first 4 years, it was like, okay, Michelle, girl. But that second, where she was in the gold, and Michelle ate that second one she ate. Melania in the baby blue outfit for the inauguration. Oh God, bitch was sickening. Bitch, that bitch ate. Oh my God, she was sickening. Bitch, get out of here with the gloves and the cape and the red bottom capes on. Ow. Melania in the yellow gown. Woo. Sickening. Oh, you brought the sunshine. You brought the sunshine. Let me see what they pull up if I just do Melania fashions. Melania fashions, best looks. I hope soon as she's done, baby. Uh, beat. Uh, eat it. Anybody who knows me know I love the looks, baby. Uh, anybody who knows me know I love a motherfucking look, honey. Give me a first lady look. Uh, uh, sickening. That's Farm Rio. I have one of those dresses. It don't look like that, baby, because I look thick in mine. Let me see if that's Farm Rio. Oh, she looks sickening. She just anyway. We is not. I'm about to. Y'all got me here. Living for motherfucking Melania, girl. Gone, bitch. Fuck you. But I do like her fashion. See me sickening. Ooh, 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 baby. Oh God, bitch. That yellow coat with the leather and leopard print shoes and the fucking Birkin. Ooh, oh, oh my God, sickening. She looks sickening. Bitch, eat. Woo, Lord. Oh, yes, baby. I just listen. I can't. I just can't. Oh, the white. Oh my God, the white. Oh, the white. That. Oh God. That. Oh, that baby sickening. The blue, the red. Oh, oh, the fuchsia and the yellow with the fuchsia arms, the yellow jacket, and the fuchsia pumps. Oh, yes. I mean, baby. I don't get, y'all know I don't like no motherfucking Trump, baby, but honey, she comes with a look, baby. If you take away her being Trump's wife and just go by the fashion, she almost give you a nasty Meghan Markle. Because Meghan Markle will bust you out a look too. But, you know, definitely she's my favorite. She's my, guilty pleasure of fashion first ladies. But anyway, so all right, let me go. So my last part is I guess what Serena represents is not just like a victim or villain in the show. To me, to me, she's the most glaring personification of white womanhood as a political tool. As a political tool. How many times did they, not only she doing it to herself, but the men in how many, every season they parade Serena out for whatever reason as a model womanhood, model of woman, model of virtue. And even remember when her and Fred went to Canada to visit, she's this statuesque model of womanhood. Do you see what I'm saying? And they're using it as a political tool against the people they are oppressing. Do you see what I'm saying? They're using Serena as this political tool. And even when she has the baby and they say, well, we can't bring you back to Gilead. You see what I'm saying? We can't bring you back to Gilead, but we can have you stay there and be a fertility fucking beacon of light to get people to come over to the side of Gilead. Do you see what I'm saying? Are y'all following me? Like they use her as a political tool all the time. But it's not just them using her. It's her being voluntary to be used as a political tool. Look at what she did when she forced them to give the commander, when he died, to give the commander that kind of pomp and circumstance moment of celebrating his death. Not celebrating his death, but honoring his death. And so they do this big televised thing. Now she's weaponized. It's used as a political tool, but she's also weaponizing it against June. Remember when she had her baby girl coming in the purple, come and give her that fucking thing on national TV, and June was standing there with her daddy, and look up at the TV, and here this bitch is with a black veil on, and my daughter giving her fucking flowers. That was a gag. To me, that was Serena's Cersei moment. That was like, oh. That was her moment where she gagged them. Baby, I was like, oh, baby. But that was her using her position as white woman. I'm in mourning of my husband being murdered. I'm weaponizing my white woman's vulnerability, but it's monstrous. Like I don't want you to ignore that. This is a monster. This is using her femininity as the veneer, but it is rotten at its core. Okay? It's like my femininity and my poor husband. Look at what they did to me. I am a widow. Oh my God. But that is just a veneer. She is a demon. Do you see what I'm saying? This is why we want a reckoning and not a redemption. We want a reckoning because you knew what you were doing. You are terrorizing this girl. And not just June, because we're positioning June as them as the villains. You guys, her as the villain and June as the hero. But what about the people that you are literally using as pawns? This little girl, her daughter, that Hannah, she's trying to save. You know what she's going to do, what she's going to be, the type she's about to be. She's trained to be a wife. And we know what they did to the wives. We know what they do to wives. We know what they do to young girl wives. We learned with Ester Keyes, the wife Keyes wives, Commander Keyes wives. We learn from her what they do to young girl wives, and rape them and put them and let the other commanders come in and do stuff to them. Do you see what I'm saying? Like she knows that this happens. But all at the same time, she's positioning herself as this widow, this sad, vulnerable, sad white beacon of femininity. And to me, she is her story is the lesson you need to learn, which is why she needs a reckoning. And if they don't do that during this season, it's going to piss me off. She doesn't need if she shouldn't get a redemptive arc if it is not a reckoning. Period. There needs to be a reckoning. There needs to be she needs to lose it all. And the redemption is that you got to live with that you lost it all. Okay. All right. So that is Serena Joy. Let me think, make sure I didn't miss any of my notes. Yeah, why I say why she is the lesson that people need to learn, because in this political climate, 50% more than half of the white women are voting against women's interests, their own interests in this country. They are voting Republican. And so the lesson that needs to be learned, imagine if white women just moved to 60 or 70%, it will change the dynamic of this country. Like just that many. Just 60 to 70%. If everybody moved over 10%, just 10, but especially them, we will have so much power. And so ultimately, Serena Joy's story is a cautionary tale, not of what happens when women lose power, but of what happens when they pursue power by standing on the sides of white men, or on the side of patriarchy, in this case, white men, when they're standing on the side of white men while standing on the back of other women. This is a cautionary tale. This is the lesson you hoes need to learn. So that's why Serena Joy is one of my favorite characters on the show, because that is the lesson these bitches need to learn, y'all. That is the lesson of this, to me, of this whole show. So my next one, who else did y'all say y'all think that was mine? So we got Serena Joy. Who else did y'all think was my favorite? Somebody said June. June is not. So let's kick her out. Who else? So somebody said Aunt Lydia. She is not. So let's go to who else is one of my favorites, because I also think this is a lesson. This is the male version of Serena Joy. Who is the male version of Serena Joy? Don't say Fred, y'all. Because Fred didn't learn no lessons, child. Fred was a patriarch. He wasn't, there was no complication in Fred. Very little, if any. So it's not Fred. Who is the male version of Serena Joy in the story of learning a complicated lesson about patriarchy? Who is the male version of her? Very similar, not exactly story arc, but very similar situation. So Brandon says Nick. Who else? Anybody else? The male version of Serena. Brandon, who else is if you didn't say Nick, who else? Boom. Trishan, Commander Lawrence. Abso-fucking-lutely. That's my second. I'm gonna do three. That is my second favorite character because he is a male version of Serena. So let's go to my Commander Lawrence notes. All right. So Commander Lawrence is one of the most he's one of those complex characters, all right? So he exists in the contradiction of space, similar to Serena Joy, embodying the he's like the architect. He is like the machine, the oil, the cog, the machine of how Gilead works. how white supremacy in this dystopian works, where he is displaying in throughout the show, he is displaying this kind of moral ambiguity and resistance. He's not only like a symbol of patriarchal power, but he is also how like his character represents the moral evasion and selective guilt often found in complicit white males within a system of oppression. So them poor white males or them males who are kind of just complacent, like I may not be as bad as Commander Putnam. I'm not I'm not cheating on my wife, taking women to the Jezebel house. I'm actually faithful to my wife. And I feel bad because my wife didn't want this. My wife doesn't want this. Like my wife, actually my love for my wife has been my wife's love for me has been tarnished because of what I created here. And I feel guilty about it, but I'm still playing along with the thing. So that kind of selective guilt. So do you see what I'm saying? Like you too, just like Joy, just like Serena Joy, you too are in this place of complacency and selective when you get to guilt. Yeah, balloons, thumbs up. It's selective when you get to play with the guilt of patriarchy. Selective when you sometimes it's like I ain't got no morals, baby. Just like remember when he told June, I try to make it better the best way that I can, and this is how I work it out. So, oh, you think it's easy? Here you go. I'm gonna give you a file of bitches. You only can save 5 of them, and you have to save the best. Who are you gonna save? And June, not Serena, June was like, I'm not choosing, blah blah blah. Then they all die. Then they all die. So what you gonna do? What you gonna do? Come on, let's go see them. Let's go to the cages. You can't save them all. I've tried to make this decision. I can't. So you get to choose. Good luck. The ball is already rolling. The monster is already here. Frankenstein has already been created. When I was supposed, the moral lesson should have, I couldn't learn it until it was already here. I thought that I was saving the world. I thought that I was doing right by creating a place where we can thrive. But I didn't really think about the moral cost because I thought I was saving humanity. And I want y'all to understand, in the real world, some of these Christian fundamentalists think that they're white Christian fundamentalists think that they are saving white manhood. We came over here from Europe and created this whole land. Regardless of the right and wrong of it, because clearly we don't care. Not us, but them. Clearly we don't care. But y'all are coming over here trying to stomp us out. And we built this motherfucker. And you think we're not going to give it up without a fight? Like they think it's their moral duty. They think it's their moral duty. Hold on, let me see if I can. Did I go to my activities? Because I just saved a video about this. Hmm. Is this it? Oh no. Hold on. Let me see. Activity. There was this episode of this woman. She was talking about
Why is homosexuality the only sin y'all focus on?
Because by deeming one sin worse than all the others, they get to ignore the plank in their own eye while they
no, not that one. There's another one that it was about religion. Is this the one?
So
Yes.
Another creator has talked about that there's a Republican Jesus and a Democrat Jesus, and I want to expand on what she said because I loved it. First of all, it's no nonsense spirituality, and I'll tag her below. She's amazing. I love the way her brain thinks. As someone who has a degree in biblical studies, you need to know that you can make the Bible say whatever you want to say, and the proof of that is in the fact that we have hundreds of different denominations in our country. And that's how we have a Republican Jesus and a Democrat Jesus. For someone who is Republican, they see Jesus as a champion for moral order, personal responsibility, and national loyalty. They align with values like authority, purity, tradition, and loyalty. They use scriptures like Psalm 33:12, which says, "Blessed is the nation whose God is the Lord." 2 Thessalonians 3:10, which says, "If a man will not work, he shall not eat." And Matthew 10:34, which says, "Do not think that I came to bring peace on earth. I did not come to bring peace, but a sword." To them, Jesus is the protector of God's ordained order. So they're opposed to government welfare.
And they are at
because
the top.
church should take care of the poor, not the government. They have strong support for nationalism and border security because they think protecting their country is their moral duty.
Hold on. I want y'all to hear that.
And Matthew 10:34, which says, "Do not think that I came to bring peace on earth. I did not come to bring peace, but a sword." To them, Jesus is the protector of God's ordained order. So they're opposed to government welfare because the church should take care of the poor, not the government.
But they
have
don't.
Strong support for nationalism and border security because they think protecting their country is their moral duty. And they're resistant to any of the LGBTQ rights because they believe that God only created male and female. Now, I know they believe these things because I used to be a Christian nationalist, and I believed those things too. Now, for the Democrats, Jesus is viewed as a revolutionary figure who opposed the powerful and prioritized the marginalized. When they look at scriptures, they look for scriptures that align with their values, like compassion, justice, inclusion, and equality.
Right.
They talk about verses like Luke 18:22, which says, "Sell everything you have and give to the poor, and you will have treasures in heaven." Or Matthew 5:9, which says, "Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called children of God." Or Matthew 25:40, which says, "Whatever you did for the least of these, you did for me." That causes them to support universal health care because Jesus healed the sick for free. Economic reform because Jesus warned that wealth can lead you astray. And they support immigrant rights because Jesus was a refugee in Egypt. And they support LGBTQ and inclusion because Jesus never condemned homosexuality. Instead, he focused on acceptance and love. Now, both of these versions of Jesus can be proven in scripture, just like No Nonsense Spirituality pointed out. And she says, the truth is we will never know because Jesus never wrote anything down. The first stories we have written about Jesus was written 30 to 50 years after his death. Now, as a biblical scholar, I have a strong opinion about which Jesus is correct. Let me know in the comments if you want to hear that. Otherwise, this is some great food for thought. So
That is
that
is, I want to give her credit. Hope with Holly. Hope _with _Holly. So I thought that was she brilliantly pointed that out because a lot of times we forget that we're not talking about the same Jesus, y'all. When we think about these people being religious, we are not on the same page when it comes to how we think about theology and moral compass. We are not on the same page. Jesus is different for them. Jesus, in their mind, they are trying to protect white manhood. That's why their Jesus is white with blue eyes. That he's the symbol of they think they are the chosen ones. And so they are protecting, it's their job to protect that. Cersei, back to Game of Thrones. It is her job to protect her family, to protect her bloodline, to ruthlessly protect their way of life. Okay, back to Commander Lawrence. So, to me, Commander Lawrence represents the white liberal patriarch who benefits from the system of oppression while attempting to distance himself from the brutal outcomes. Clock that. I want y'all to pay attention. So think about how he works. We have a bunch of liberal, I'm a feminist, I have my wife, we talking about liberal patriarchs. Not the what's the Graham dude? Something Minister Graham, Billy Graham, some shit. Not we talk about the liberal ones, the niggas on our side. Black males, liberal patriarch, Dr. Umar Johnson's liberal patriarchs. Now this one's white, but we talk about them patriarchs who they try to not think that they are connected to this white supremacy oppression, but they are, because typical patriarchy is rooted in white supremacy. So if you are trying to be a patriarch and you are a black male, you are a liberal patriarch. If you are a misogynist and think that a woman's place is lower than a man, you are a liberal patriarch. Even if you gay. Clock that T. Clock that T. Even if you're not fucking women and you think women are lower than men, just for being a woman, you are a liberal patriarch. You just don't have sex with them. Clock that T, y'all. Clock it. That's why you see these misogynist gay men that be like, oh, I love women. But they be, honey, soon as they get mad, they calling you bitches and talking about your pussies stank and fish and all that. All this typical man misogynist stuff. Clock that T. Clock it. It's not just the straights. So I wanted to point that out. But it's not just the whites. Now we talking about a white liberal patriarch, but I'm just pointing these things out so y'all know that it's not just the white men. It's all types of men. And then we're gonna get on we already got on the women, the fake women's. The women. Because Serena represents the white woman femininity, but it's also some black women who uphold patriarchy. Those first ladies of the church, the women that shame you, that says it's your fault for getting raped if you dressed a certain way. Those women are upholding patriarchy. So we already talked about them. So that's why we're just talking about the men right now with Commander Lawrence. So yes, he is a liberal patriarch who benefits from the system of oppression while trying to attempt to distance himself from the brutal parts. He helped design Gilead. So you designed this world that is steeped in white supremacy, steeped in patriarchy ideology, yet you kind of express this disdain and discomfort when confronted by the people who are suffering from its causes. Like when June is pointing to you how ugly it is out here, bitch, that you created, you kind of like, you want to turn a blind eye and put it back on her. I just talked about how he was like, what would you do in my situation? Bitch, I wouldn't have created this motherfucker in the first place. Get the fuck out of here. And to me, Lawrence, when we are talking about Commander Lawrence, to me, his detachment, when he's detaching himself from the harms of the system, he is reflecting, it parallels with the real world white elites on the liberal side. We're not talking about the delusion right wing. We talk about the liberal side, the Hollywood males, the side of that. They voted for Hillary and Kamala, the Bernie bros, the left males. They may acknowledge the system and in its injustice. You know, they like, oh, we know that capitalism is bad. We know that you know, the government is taking our taxes and dicking us down, and inflation is bad, and blah 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 blah. Highway robbery. They know how to talk about being anti-government and anti-capitalist, da 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 da. Yet they fail to do anything meaningful to dismantle it. Particularly when their own comfort or safety is at stake. They don't do anything. Let me see. Damn, she's spot on about Republican Jesus. I want to hear which one she thinks is correct before I side with her. Yes. Hey, Mr. C, how are you? They always thought it was the moral duty of cross-colonization effort for the American Indians, and it all ever did was hurt people. Facts. You right. But that's the veneer. That goes back to where the white women is like the veneer is vulnerable, feminine, soft, and oh, I'm trying to be a lady. The white man's is I'm trying to be masculine and strong and dominate. That is the definition of a man, and we're American, and we are men, and we deserve this, and this is our right to explore and happiness and keep our land, even though they took this land. That's crazy, insane. Anyway, back to what I was saying. So while we're talking about the leftists, we're not talking about the rightists. While they are acknowledging that there are systematic inequalities and da 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 da, they're not really doing anything to dismantle it. Okay. And so because they are not doing anything, not because they're so what he represents is like an oppressor with a conscience. They believe they're good guys. They straddle the fence. Yes, or they don't straddle the fence, because I don't think he's straddling the fence. He is on the side of Gilead. But he thinks he's a good guy on the side of Gilead. I'm one of the good ones. I'm not a Commander Putnam. I'm not a Fred Waterford. I'm not them. I'm faithful to my wife. I'm following the rules. I'm not fucking the handmaids. Do you see what I'm saying? I'm adjusting the rules to where I'm not doing wrong. Clock that T. I'm not sleeping with the handmaids like the other people. So I'm not really, my handmaid, she ain't getting raped. I'm faithful to my wife. I ain't taking no girl to the Jezebel house. I gotta adjust this shirt, child. I gotta go get this adjusted because bitch, she loves to give oh, look at these pants, y'all. I love these. Let's have to stand up so y'all can see them. I'm gonna stand on the couch. Look how cute these are. Yay! They're like really soft, like they're like soft. It's like silky satin, and they're like a cute just pants. And I'm like, ooh, this is so cute. It's funny how my upper body be looking super, super fat, but when I stand up and put my whole body in it, you can really tell I done lost a lot of weight. But just like this, it's giving still thick mama. Anyway, I love these pants. But yes. So yes, it's he's a figure who he's this oppressor with a conscience. While he's this oppressor with a conscience, he also rationalizes the harm that he does through these kind of supposed good intentions or intellectual curiosity or it's like I'm doing this stuff because I'm smart. I'm doing this. I'm trying to figure this system out with some intelligence, but that doesn't true. He's not actually engaging transformative justice. Even though he's doing these little things like getting some of the girls out, you get what I'm saying? That helps him feel good about himself. Clock that T. He's doing these little things. Let me go adopt a little Negro child from Africa. Let me go and create an auxiliary women's group, and we pick a little group home to pick some children at the group home and buy them gifts for Christmas, and we do a party for them every year. Now this is what they used to do to me when I was younger. When I was in the group home, these white women would come to our group home every year and picked one of the kids, and they would take us out. They would give us some like a voucher for $500 or $250 or just different prices every year. The highest I remember is like $500, but the lowest I remember was like $200. And they would take us, and we can just spend that voucher on whatever we want at the store, and they paid for them. And there were the auxiliary women. So it was like rich white women who come, and then they have a party at their house, and we come in our dress clothes, and we come and sit next to the lady who sponsored us and talk to her about our grades and talk to her about our lives. And what's happening is they are showboating to the rest of their rich friends. Like they're literally, I lived in Indiana, so your rich husbands are voting against our interests, voting against like literally taking more money from our group home to where they're feeding us and taking care of us. But you get to showboat to your auxiliary women group that you are helping the poor, unfortunate souls in the group home. Do you see what I'm saying? But you are not pushing your husband to do anything. Anyway, that's back to the women. But so it is all just performative. They're not really doing anything real thing to dismantle the system. Got it? I remember you told that story in one of your older videos. Yes, they used to do it. As a kid, it used to be beautiful in the sense of, I get $250, $500 worth of clothes and shit. But I knew as a kid, this is bullshit. Like this is them showcasing their self. I didn't take it. I just appreciated it, but I appreciated the money and what I would get from it. But I knew then, I didn't have all the political knowledge, but I knew that this was a performance. Because y'all don't talk to us no other time outside of Christmas. It would be different if y'all came to see us after. Because I remember the first time it happened, I was like, ooh, I wish that lady would come see me and talk to me after. But they never did that. It was only for Christmas. It was only to be performative. So get out of here. And so that's what Commander Lawrence represents to me. He will do some stuff with good intentions, but he ain't really doing anything that's kind of transforming what could happen with the if he really actually did the work. Be right back. I'm starving. No. The Love Beneath, it is a story about that the story that I'm telling you is about my love life, love, not just romantic love life, my love life up until adulthood. When that story with Eric happened, I was about to be 18. And so that story with Eric is the last story. Now there's some other details that I want to give, which is what my book is going to be about. Those were just the foundational stories that y'all needed to understand the rest of my book. So what you're going to get in my book is more details and more other stories that I haven't told about my love, the love beneath Diamond, about love in regards to everything: motherly love, sisterly love, brotherly love, community love, how all of these things planted seeds in my childhood, how it was given to me and how it was taken away from me, and how it informed the woman that I am today. So what the book is going to be about is love, and all in the ways that it was taken and given from me to me, in negative ways, positive ways, twisted ways, beautiful ways, how love kind of manifested itself because of or in spite of my queerness. Yes. And things, and it's going to be about things that I love and people and things that loved me. People and things and situations and da 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 da. So that's what it's going to be about. So you're going to get more stories, but I don't need to do any more videos on it because you've gotten the video was supposed to be the foundation. And so, yes, you just got to wait on the book. But I want it to be good, so I don't want to rush it. So, yeah. It's to ease their conscience because they know they are part of the problem. Yes. Okay, let me go ahead. All right. All right. This is a different layer that I wanted to talk about of Commander Lawrence. Selective empathy and erasure of Black pain. All right. So, in The Handmaid's Tale as a whole, which is why some Black people don't like it, is they use race often is abstracted or erased. There are some Black characters, when we think about Mora, when we think about of Matthews, when we think about, there are some Black characters. You got Rita. But June is positioned as, like I said, Harriet Tubman, but she white. You know what I'm saying? She's positioned to experience some of the historical subjugation of Black women bodies under slavery and beyond in other circumstances. But they're being raped and used their bodies being used to produce. Because the whole regime of Gilead is built around reproductive control, right? The whole premise of the show, the reason why this needed to be created, because the birth rate plummeted to so low, and so they needed to control, and so they use this as the reason to be able to take power, right? Now, reproductive subjugation, of course, is a black woman's story in slavery. So to me, from my lens, the omission of race and black women from this narrative and you plugging June, a white woman, into the narrative is a political statement made by Margaret Atwood, the creator of this world. Okay? It's a political statement. I'm so hungry. I hadn't eaten all day. Moira is a boss. She's from DC. She's a Susan B, not an Ida B. Explain that to me. Who, Moira? How is Moira a Susan B. Anthony? How's she a Susan B? Or you talking about June? Oh, okay. Yeah. I wouldn't even say a Susan B. A Susan B. I don't know who would be a Susan B. Because Susan was like, I want women to not be oppressed, but how dare you give them more power than us? Give them black men more power than us. I feel like Susan B would be like Aunt Lydia, who's watching a black man becoming a commander. Because remember, there was a black man commander. Like, how dare you let him be a commander and me be a auntie? That's what I would think of a Susan B would be. Yeah, I don't know if I would consider I would consider June a Susan B though, because there's a certain level of privilege that Susan B acknowledged that June just doesn't. She has a black husband and a black baby. She's not in position to position herself as better than anybody in the oppressed. Susan B, one key point about Susan B. Anthony is that she felt women, white women, should be in power, and you should not be oppressing us, and you definitely should not be giving black men the vote before us. We've been by y'all side. The jealousy is real. Excuse me. So yes, so remember, I feel like her omitting black women from this narrative and positioning white women in the position of being oppressed in the same way that we have been throughout history is a political act. And so Lawrence's empathy for his selective empathy, remember he's selective about some of them, especially towards June, it really exposes the racial dynamics implicit in who he deems worthy of redemption or protection. With a liberal white patriarch, white women's suffering is at the center of their sympathy and care. Hence why we see, white women being searched for. When they come missing, oh my God, we got to do something about this. Throw this away. So politically, he puts them up front. So I think that in the real world, if we are centering the white June's oppression in the fake world of Gilead, if we're centering this white-faced white woman in as the oppressed, as the leader of the oppressed, and we get in the Serena Joy, vulnerable lady, tears, blah, 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 blah. Who are we asking in the real world to sympathize with? If you are erasing Black women out of the narrative, Margaret Atwood, I understand the political statement that you're making and the reality of, yes, if this happened in the real world, they probably would have killed a lot of us off. But also in the real world, who knows that this is a fictional story, what does that say about who we should sympathize with? Does it actually change people's mind as they watch the story if the white woman is still being centered as this person we should have sympathy for, the worthy one, the one that's worthy of protection and redemption? White women's suffering is still at the center, even though the long history of Black women's reproductive exploitation is literally in the visual of this movie being sidelined. The reality of the world is we were the ones who were subjugated. You get what I'm saying? The reality of the world. So while Margaret is always saying, when she's interviewed about this show and this book about testaments and about Handmaid's Tale, she always says, what I'm trying to do is share with you stuff that use this story, this dystopian fantasy world, to share with you what has already happened in the world to many women. Got it? Now I got to rewatch. I paused on season 3. Yes, y'all need to get back in. That's why I'm talking about this. Get back in. I understand season 3 that's where most people said they stopped, because it was like, oh God, this gets heavy. But after season 3, we start to get the revenge. We start to get the good part where they get to slay some people instead of just being harmed. So yes, I wanted to talk about the erasure and the centering of a white woman in the story as we're watching. So how is that affecting us? We are still centering white women's pain and suffering and saying that it is more valuable, even in an artistic expression of this show. Do you see what I'm saying? We are not, even there's one character that is like, it's not just one character that's black, but the one that really, really is like, ooh, that made me think about race that made me think about race in how race is playing out in the artistic version of this show, is when Of Matthews is sitting there and Aunt Lydia um is forcing her to watch her because she's pregnant, and she has shot up the grocery store. She has shot up the grocery store and gone crazy, and so they had to shoot her, but they have to keep her alive to keep the baby alive. And so they're keeping her alive as the baby grows, da 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 da. And June has to sit there and watch her. And so we're seeing this woman literally be used for her body, being prioritized over the baby. It was so, it was like one of those moments where this is one of the black women in the show, and it's like, oh my gosh, she's also positioned as this like pick me because she's having a bunch of babies. She's kind of Matthews is positioned as this like pick me of doing right by the commanders, like almost being okay with being a handmaid. I'm gonna get back into it and finish season 1. I just got taken off track because I got into Severance. All right, what else? This is my notes too. All right, so earlier I said with Serena, remember I said that Lawrence is a male version of Serena? And I also said that with Serena, do not confuse emotional vulnerability for accountability. So her going through some emotional, vulnerable moments, that's not being her held accountable for the shit that she has done to June, the shit that she has done to the women of Gilead, to the handmaids. She also had those moments where her trauma leaked through. Yes, definitely. Don't let her sadness, oh, I gotta give my baby, and that sadness Serena kind of gives you that can make people sympathize with her. That emotional vulnerability and hardship that comes with her being in the position that she is, don't confuse that with accountability. That is not accountable. She's not being accountable to just being emotionally vulnerable. She has not been held accountable by the people who she has harmed. Clock that. Because June playing her is not her holding her accountable. So don't clock that. But let's go back to Commander Lawrence. But remember I said that because the same thing happens with with Commander Lawrence. You can confuse with Serena, you can confuse that vulnerability with accountability. But with Commander Lawrence, you can confuse so think about Commander Lawrence, his ambiguous morality. So it's like, it's ambiguous. Like you can't really pinpoint where his moral standing is. His contradictions, of course he's funny. I think he's one of the funniest written characters. His sarcasm and da-da-da. I love that about him, about as a character. The dry wit that he has, his reluctancy to participate in Gilead's brutality. It can be seen as like this, it kind of grants him like this sympathy in the same way that shit grants Serena sympathy. It kind of grants him sympathy in regards to it makes, oh, he has some complexity, he feels bad about it a little bit. It can kind of confuse you in to think that giving him sympathy for his complexity. Do you see what I'm saying? Giving him sympathy because of this kind of ambiguous morality. Oh, see, he's thinking about it. But no, fuck that. I need y'all to not be confused. Do not confuse that complexity with accountability. What Bell Hooks say? Bell Hooks talks about the absence of accountability is dangerous. It's a dangerous denial of reality. That's what she says. So if you're not accountable, honey, you denying the reality. Lawrence allows us, when we watching him, yes, we are exploring moral discomfort. He's explaining moral discomfort, but it's still not tested. We are not giving him, we're sparing him for the full weight of the violence that he has created. We are sparing him of the full weight of what he has created and done to the people. Everybody who has been harmed. Do you see what I'm saying? You created this world. So everybody who has been on the wall, everybody who has gotten raped, everybody who has died, everybody who is been beaten, you are part of this major, huge trauma that they have all experienced. Mora, am I saying that right? Myra, I hate her name. Mora. I don't know how to say her name. I can't. Her name be hard for me to say. Moira. Anyway, the black girl. Her having to go through the trauma in the Jezebels and then having to get out and leave June. All these trauma. Dude, you, the architect of this system, you are a part of this. So you don't get to skirt out of accountability just because you're like, oh, I'm making these moral decisions to I'm not as bad as Putnam. I'm not a bad. So that allows us to kind of have sympathy for him as we watch him. But no, we can't have sympathy for somebody who is this responsible for the harm, who plays such a big part in the harm and the violence that he helped create. And then we have to ask ourselves, would such complexity be afforded to a black or brown character who is complicit in a similar oppressive regime? Like if he was black, we would not give him the slack. But his whiteness and his maleness allows us to look at him with sympathy. No, don't look at somebody like a liberal patriarch with sympathy because you benefit too much from the system. You are a part of the system, dude. I don't care how complicated it is for you. You harming people. If you're not doing what you need to do to dismantle it, then you are just as bad as them conservative dudes over there. You a fucking liberal patriarch. A Bolivian patriarch. All right. Yeah, so just like Serena, are y'all still here? I don't see nobody talking. Oh, hey, Chachan. Chachan said she also had those moments where her trauma leaked out. Oh, I read that part. Yes, of Matthews. Yes, absolutely. So yeah, just like Serena, Commander Lawrence, you have to be careful with how it is written. We're supposed to be sympathizing with the complexity of his choices, but fuck that. Do not sympathize with no clowns who are not actually holding themselves accountable to the harm that they are creating. That their harm outweighs these small little complexities that they are looking past. Even when he is trying to tell June, come back over to Gilead, come to New Bethlehem. I'm trying to do a new thing. That is still a fucking prison that's harming women and girls. And just because you let me come stay with my daughter at New Bethlehem, that doesn't change the harm that you are doing. And you're trying to be complicit. You're trying to do these things to justify your actions, the bad and the brutality. It doesn't outweigh it. It's actually way imbalanced. You doing these one little, two little nice little things over here with this heavy ass hard shit. No. All right. So I got one more. So I said I was gonna do 3. So that's Commander Serena Joy, Commander Lawrence. Who else do y'all think is my favorite character? Who else? One more. It's not Aunt Lydia. It's not somebody said Serena Joy, so that y'all got that one right. Who else? One more. Okay, oh boy June was sleeping with. You said Nick. No. Also a liberal patriarch. He is just like he is Commander Lawrence with some good dick. He's a fuck boy. He is Commander Lawrence. He's Commander Lawrence that's not old. He is a liberal patriarch too. Let's keep it gutter. No, he is a liberal patriarch. Him and Luke. All right, so I'm gonna go to my other favorite. So it's not Nick. I mean, this is my last one. My last one is Esther. Do y'all know who Esther is? She's quite new. She's in the y'all probably don't know her cuz if you haven't got to these new seasons. Cuz I think she's season 4. Bradley Waterford. Who is Bradley? Who is that? Who is Bradley? You talking about Fred Waterford? Fred, Serena's husband? His name ain't no Bradley, child. Fred Waterford. Is there Bradley on? No, it ain't no Bradley. The commander that kind of helped her. That kind of helped who? Which one? The commander that kind of helped her. Who? Who is the her? Helped who? The Commander Lawrence. That's Commander Lawrence. Fred Waterford wasn't helping no June. It wasn't no Waterford that was helping June, child. Fred wasn't helping June. Serena husband, he wasn't helping June, child. He was late. June was his little toy, honey. No, Esther, Joseph Lawrence. Yeah, so that's who I just did. That's the dude I just did. Joseph Lawrence. He was my third. He was my second. So who is my third is Esther. Bradley is his real name. Oh, I thought his name was Joseph. I didn't know Bradley. That was his name? I didn't know Bradley was his real name. Fred was helping himself to help me. Yeah. I didn't know his name was Bradley. Oh, well, yeah, Joseph Lawrence. I thought his name was Joseph. I didn't know his name was Bradley. But yes, Joseph. That was my third. So that was my second. My third is Esther. Do y'all know who Esther is? If you haven't watched it past season 3, then you don't know who Esther is. So Esther is one of the very, very young wives. Esther comes, I think, in season 4. I think Esther comes in season 4, I think. 4 or 5. I think 4. No, yeah, she comes in 4. Esther is one of the young wives. She's in green. She has a older commander who is going through dementia. But what we find out is he ain't going through dementia because he old. He going through dementia because she poisoning his ass. She give you insight. Yes, Esther is the real young wife. She gives you insight on the life of a young wife. So this is not a wife like a Serena or like what was Putnam's wife's name? Angela. She's not one of the high-ranking commander's wives. She's a commander's wife, but she's not one of the high-ranking ones, or the more participant. The one that poisoned her husband. Yes, that's Esther. So the chick that threw herself in the pool. No, that she was not a wife yet. Yeah, she became a wife, but not but that is, what was her name? I know the girl, her name is Sweeney. Sydney Sweeney. That's the actress name, which I think is one of the most sickening. Her and Esther are the two, to me, white actresses, up and coming young actresses in their 20s that are coming up doing some good ass fucking acting. They're doing good. But Esther, no, Esther comes later on. So the one that threw herself in the pool, that was forced to throw herself in the pool with her trade. So what she was becoming to Nick. Yeah, y'all need to watch. Y'all missing out on some good stuff. Sydney has been doing it. Had 2 Emmy nods one season. Yes, child. She was killing it. She did really good. She did really good on Euphoria too, as Cassie. Killed it. Anyway, but the girl who threw herself in the pool, she was going to be Nick's wife, and she was training to become like one of the green ladies. But what we see in Esther is as it progressed, when she becomes one of the lady who's wear green and become. Okay, so that's who we talking about. So she comes in season 4. She is one of the when June is trying to get out of Gilead, and she needs refuge, she goes to this lady's house, and she's like 14. So her name is she's she's Commander Keyes' wife. Her name is Ester Keyes. Yes, I put it in my note. She's introduced in season 4. She is a young wife of one of the high-ranking commanders, but one of the more ones that we don't see that often. And so what I love about her is she has a seemingly docile exterior, but she has an inner she has a very complex and traumatized, fiercely defiant inner world. Like, you learn that while she knows how to play the game and be the sweet little wife, she's not. She is a fighter. She's poisoning her husband. She's wearing it out, and she wants these motherfuckers to die. She is not playing. She is like that kind of for me, I love it. She's like a wild card. Especially if you watch it till now, you know how I don't want to, if y'all ain't watch it, I don't want to ruin it for y'all, but y'all know what she did to Janine. I don't want to say it. Don't say it. But what even happens to widows in Gilead? They get remarried. Remember, Angela got remarried to Commander Lawrence when his wife died. Remember? In season 5. Yeah, they get remarried to a commander. Let me find. I said something on somebody's comments. So what I love about what I said on my homegirl's post, I said what I love about Esther is that I love a uncontrollable, justified, vengeful hate bomb. That's what I called her. A uncontrollable, vengeful hate bomb. Because what I loved about her is that when she realized, now June kind of calmed her down, but when she met June, remember she thought June was like this Mayday savior. She only heard the rumors of June, remember? So June was like a superhero in her head. So when she meets June, she like, yo, my girl, you done got these motherfuckers together. So I've been trying to get them together in my little way here. And now that I got you here, what we doing? I'm ready. Do you see what I'm saying? When Esther was on it, Esther was like, yo, so what we doing? Let's get these niggas. What's up? If you remember that little scene when she was smoking. Because, first she was like a little girl and da-da-da-da-da-da. But then she was like, okay, June, now that we done healed you and you better, what's the plan? And June is like, we gotta wait. We gotta da-da-da. Smart. Right. She was like, squad up, what's the tea? And once she realized that June is a human and scared and like, oh, I don't know the plan. I'm just winging it, bitch. It almost takes June down a notch in her head. Oh, you a weak ass bitch. Like she was like, oh, you one of them. You really just a weak ass bitch. What? Like it gags her. Remember, it gags her. and that underbelly of her trauma is under this little girl facade. Like these niggas has been molesting and raping me for this whole time. And the only way for me to fight back was to you get what I'm saying, wear this dude out. So he's getting worse and worse and worse. And I done figured out, because I'm a herbalist, honey, a witch, baby. I done figured out how to keep this dude sedated so they not raping me. And I done got control over my household while still keeping him alive, but sedated. So now these dudes can't come and wear me out because I got control of my people here. She basically doing what Serena is doing. Kind of, it's a stretch. Bear with me. You know how Serena is, because Fred is lost in his patriarchal thing, but you not making me no babies, my nigga. You ain't getting our handmaid pregnant. So Serena is like, honey, I'm about to control what's going on in this house. Come on, Nick. Come on and fuck June so we can get this baby popping. And we'll figure it out. You get what I'm saying? She's taking control of the reins of what's going on in her house. So Esther, just a little bit more extreme, is taking the control and reins of what's going on in her house. And we realize that, look at what I have gone through. Like Steven in Django, when Calvin gone, he signs checks and running things. Yes, absolutely. So she's in this position where, she's kind of running her thing. So let's talk about it. So first thing we got to acknowledge is that on the peripheral, like on the veneer, on the first, at the first glance of Esther's story, she's a personification. She kind of encapsulates many of the most disgusting parts about Gilead systems: child marriage, sexual violence, religious control, and reproductive exploitation. This is kind of, she encapsulates that. We get to see what Hannah is about to get involved in, right? We know Hannah is in her purple and she's young and she hasn't come to becoming a woman yet. So we know this is what she's about to be, because you just don't become a Serena, you become a Esther, right? So but we got to think of her I want you to think about her deeper. because I think that while we, in the same way, just like I was comparing Serena to Commander Lawrence, I also have to compare Commander Lawrence to Esther. So it is easy for us to look at Esther, especially somebody who is an underdog. As a Black trans woman, if you're a Black queer person, when we underdog, we love to see a person or that underdog that is unapologetic about their revenge. Right? We love to see a motherfucker that's like, oh, I want to cut niggas' throats. I want to I want to harm some people. Like these mother, we ain't being nice like Janine. We ain't being nice like June and figuring it out. Where June comes in and out of her about it. Like sometimes I'm ready to wear it out. I want to stab the older commander and burn his body and wrap it up in the you know what I'm saying? Sometimes I'm about that life, but sometimes I'm about the conform life, right? But Esther ain't that. She ain't that. She actually is not that. No, she is not. She was like, I much rather die. And we see that when what she did with Janine. She was like, I played the role for you. I played the role for you, and it still harmed me. And Janine, look at you. That is such a beautiful moment. I don't want to say beautiful, but like, bitch, your whole eye is gone. You talking about, I don't want to be, and Esther is like, I don't want to be you, baby. Like, you sitting here with your whole eye gone. These people took your eye, and you telling me, just do what they tell you or they're gonna kill you. I'd rather die. That's what she says. And you telling me this, and this is why I love Esther. This is why she's one of my favorite characters. You telling me this. Thank you, Moni. Thank you. You telling me this as positioning yourself as my ally. You telling me to conform to these people harming me. You are my enemy. You are not my friend. You are not. You think you are, but you are not. You are telling me to just let them do whatever they want to me without any fight. Like you are doing with this one eye. You are wearing me out, and you are my enemy. And what I love about it is that she says, and so because you are my enemy, I'm harming you too. And I don't want to ruin it. I don't want to do any spoilers, but watch the rest of the season. She was like, you are my enemy, bitch. And no, I'd rather die, and I'm gonna wear you out. I'm gonna wear everybody out. I'm gonna wear everybody out. So because when I had a moment of weakness and tried, I still got harmed, and you people didn't do nothing about it. And you're faking it. Aunt Lydia, you came to this hospital and acted like you care about me and want to save me while these people harm. And you want me to be like Janine and just roll over and be a good girl. When her being a good girl got her eye cut out. Got her sent to the damn what was the radiation place? I can't remember exactly. Sent to the farms or whatever. Esther must not have any children. No, she doesn't. Esther, no, she doesn't have any children. No, she doesn't have any. June conforms because she has something to lose. But does she? Does she? June does a lot of stuff that could get her to the wall that would risk her and Hannah. June does a lot of stuff that will get that the most unrealistic part about the story is that June does a lot of shit that will get her put on the wall. Like, it's a bunch of shit. Like, there's no way. Like, her coming out, like when her and Luke get caught, them people killing her and doing all that, like not killing her and just locking her up and blah 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 blah. Girl, I don't, baby. I don't think that was realistic. I felt like they would have been wore June out. They tried to give us excuses or reasons why people were saving them. But June done did a lot of shit that was like, girl, what is happening? Like, they should have been put you on the wall, girl. But that's what Aunt Lydia said too. Aunt Lydia was like, bitch, I would have been put your ass on the wall. As soon as you had that baby, kill her. Aunt Lydia was like, girl, you should have been put on the wall, girl. So, but what I say is it's easy for us to look at Esther and be like, yes, get him, get him, get him. We can relate to that as Black people, as Black women, as Black trans women, as Black queer people. We can relate to that, never give up this fight spirit. Keep going, keep trying to keep Nat Turner, like Nat Turner. We know Nat Turner, they hung him and ate his body and had his teeth used for dentures and had his skin and hair put in chairs. Like, we know slavery was horrible, but we kind of romanticize the Nat Turners and the Denmark Vesey's and the Gabriel Proctors of the world. These and even like Haiti, like the rebellions that actually worked, or they worked for a little bit and then got caught. We actually romanticize these things, because we like that fighter that never gave up. So you feel what I'm saying? That never gave up. In regards to Esther, I need, just like I said about Commander Lawrence, I need y'all to not be glamored in the real world. Okay? In the real world, I don't want y'all to be glamored by this little white girl's tears, because as a viewer, we can kind of sympathize with her, but who in the real world, who is being centered, who is on our screen crying and being worthy of our sympathy? A white girl. Not a Black girl. It's a white girl. In the real world, like our real world as we're watching. Do not be glamored by that. She's not a singular case of female suffering. Once again, the Black narrative is being erased. What I ask you to consider is whose suffering is being centered in this piece of art. This series is a piece of art. I haven't been fooled by the tears since Redwood. So this series is a piece of art, and we are watching it. We are watching the performance. And even though Margaret Atwood, the creator of this narrative, has explained to us why she did it, and it's a good reason, yes. But there's a reason why these white women love this story, why this became a series, why this became one of her best-selling book. This white tears, people love to sympathize with it. But as a Black feminist woman, Black trans woman, we have to ask ourselves, who is this suffering centering individuals that we see, whose trauma is being whose trauma is like the aesthetic, and how do certain bodies become in this world become the symbolized resistance? Who now is symbolized as the frontline soldiers of the resistance? June, Esther, Janine, for real. These white bodies, not the black girls. The black girls have been died off. There's a couple of black girls in there. What is her name? Brianna. She's a black girl, but she's kind of quiet. Remember, she almost got them caught in the when they were in that kind of that paddy wagon thing. Y'all remember that part when Brianna almost got them killed before they got shot? So yeah, we gotta understand who is being centered here in this story as the visual representation and who is being erased from the narrative. Black women are being erased from this narrative as an art piece. So clock that. So I said in my notes, I said her white girlhood is framed in a way that demands audience to have empathy for her. Her silence, her intensity, because she's intense. Her silence, her intensity, her unpredictability all become signs of her psychological complexity in the interior. So when we see her being silenced and kind of evil, even when she's trying to force Janine to eat that pig that they killed, I feel like many of the black women are made Jezebels. The black woman Jezebel trope is so hard to watch sometimes. So, what I would have people ask: would a black girl be written on the show with the same kind of narrative grace, this kind of complexity that they give her? Would she be allowed to have this kind of intensity and unpredictability? Would she be written in the show like this? She would not. She cannot. Would she be allowed to have this kind of like resistance in her? Would she be allowed to have that? And if she has that, would she be coded as dangerous, hypersexual, or emotionally unstable? Because somebody who has this resistance is Moira. God, I keep slaughtering her name. Myra. I cannot say her name. Why is her name coming to me so hard? Moira. Whatever, how you ever say your name. When we think about Moira, that is not how you say her name. Moira. Is that how you say it? Moira? Moira. It wears me out. Moira. Because I want to say Myra, but I know it's not Myra. Moira. Anyway, Moira. When we think about Moira, that's what we get from Moira. Like when they tell her story, it's not positioned like Esther's. When they tell the real black girl in the stories, it is coded as dangerous, hypersexual, or emotionally unstable. And hers is not, we're not looking, yes, is Esther seen as emotionally traumatized? Yes, but it's not unstable. We're looking at her as like, oh, she's ready to go at it. There's a sympathy that we are positioned to look at her, and sympathy and empathy that we are able to position Esther in, that we are not, that the black girls on the show are not given. She's also the sexual deviant. She's the gender traitor, right? We don't have to even, We don't have to even have that narrative with Esther. So what I love about Esther is not a passive victim. She is her quietness and low keyness that she has learned to survive for herself. Her quietness hides a rage and rebellion, and strategy. Like she is not, she is not, like we see how she has controlled over her house, that she has a strategy. And which is why she has fantasized about June in her head, because I've prepared this place for you, and once you come, because you're this superhero, you are gonna make me better. I got my magical powers and I know how to figure this shit out. And if I just had you to inspire me, to guide me, I could be a we can undo this. Excuse me. So it with Esther's story, she's not some passive victim. She got some fight in her, which is what I love about her. So she not only poisons her abusers, she offers refuge to the rebel handmaids. She studies the scriptures not to obey them, but to weaponize them. And the violence that she does, even that scene when June let her kill that man, is all justified. Like the violence is justified in how like we're looking at her. She's been through all of this stuff, and her poisoning her husband, all the stuff that she does. We are positioned to, we can look at her and easily say she's justified in her actions. From a Black feminist standpoint, the question has to be asked: how would this same behavior be read if Esther was not white? I want y'all to imagine how people, and not just white people, but Black men, gay men, pick me ass Black women, how think about how often when Black women respond harshly to bad treatment of us, it is always met with this tone policey ass shit. Oh, you could have found another way to do it. You could have done this another way. When we do something like that's violent or harsh and in response to violence towards us, it's always, you got to be ladylike, you got to be gracious, you can't fight, you can't harm, you can't do this, you should have did this another way. It's always a way that we have to be controlled. But other people, their response to violence is always justified. Imagine if a Black woman was Lorena Bobbitt and it wasn't a white passing Latina woman. How would Lorena Bobbitt be seen and depicted if she was Black? Y'all remember Lorena Bobbitt? Lorena Bobbitt is there's a documentary called Lorena, produced by Jordan Peele, to be exact. Jordan Peele. He produced a documentary on Lorena's life. She's older. She's like a nonprofit domestic violence person now. And but she was abused by her husband and she ended up cutting off his peen. Cutting off his ding ding. And so if you watch, I think it's on Amazon Prime. If you watch, it's called Lorena, 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 and they go through the whole details. And when I was younger and the Lorena Bobbitt thing was happening, I was too young to understand all the details of all the stuff that's happening. But as a grown woman watching that, I got to be like, oh wow, this was wild. I heard about it and saw the jokes on TV and blah 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 blah. And tossed it out the window and tossed it out the window. Right. So if Lorena Bobbitt was black, would they have made it seem like, oh, this was a justified action towards abuse? No, they probably would have said, oh, that just went too far. She's crazy and unstable, mentally unstable. How dare you cut off a black man's penis, especially if it was a black man? Especially if it was a black man, how people that the thought of emasculating him by cutting off his peen, how they romanticize black penises and objectify black penises. Oh, you cut off his manhood, the manhood of Earth, of the African Mandingo Zulu tribe, body part of our ancestors. You cut that off. All of that is colored in the conversation. They would wear her out. It would have been a whole different vibe. It would have been a whole different vibe. A whole different vibe. So that's what I mean. That's how I want y'all to, when y'all analyzing these stories about these girls and these women. As a black woman, will we be when we be like, yeah, get them, yeah, get your revenge back? Would we be seen with that same empathy and sympathy and care and justification? Probably not. And so I implore us to look past that, just like we look past the moral complexity of a Commander Lawrence, that moral complexity that makes him seem like he's a good guy because he's thinking about it. Oh, he's thinking about the moral side of it. No, he still is complicit in these streets, and he's not being held accountable for his actions. Now, Esther, there doesn't need to be any accountability held with her. That's the difference. But because this is a piece of art that we are consuming, I want to make sure that we are clear in who is being centered in the narrative of who we are able to see as a victim and sympathize with. So when we see, and this is my last point on Esther, Esther is served here in my notes I said, this is I forgot to talk about this. I wanted to, when we talking about how black women are seen, think about it. We have many examples in the notes. I say historically, we have been when black girls resist violence, whether through silence, incompliance, or direct actions, we have historically been cast as threats rather than survivors. Think about figures like Centoya Brown and Brescia Meadows, who had self-defense. Their self-defense situation was criminalized rather than framed as a trauma-informed resistance. Like, it's literally facts in their cases that prove that they were being harmed as teens. And we ain't looking at them. Centoya Brown, y'all remember that case? Who was kind of like killed her killed her oppressor, her pimp. Was he her pimp or her molester? I can't remember exactly how. It's been a while. But Centoya Brown, she killed her fucking pimp or her fucking harmer, her fucking rapist. Anyway, and it was facts, and she was still charged. Now we got her acquitted. We meaning us as a community, of course. Kim K kind of jumped in and got people to looking at it, and she got acquitted, right? And so, but that is a perfect example. People were not looking at her initially as a victim. We don't, black women, trans women, we don't really get the black trans women, we don't really get that kind of sympathy around when we are protecting ourselves. Look at Cece McDonald when she was in that fucking bar and those dudes were trying to wear her out and she had to cut that dude and kill him. Cece McDonald. So when we think about those scenarios, we got clear evidence that we are not cared. Make sure you have thumbs up as you're watching. That we are not cared for in the same way and seen as victims. We still are seen as a threat to society, even though we are resisting in that harsh way. So when we think about Esther and we are sitting looking at her, it's not that we shouldn't have sympathy for her. We should just ask more questions. Like, if this was a black girl, would we be caring? Is the people we might care, but is the people who that may be watching this that are not white looking at her, will they have the same empathy for a black girl who wanted this kind of rebel resistance that she having? Would they look at her the same way, or would they look at her as a threat? And so, yes, I wanted to bring up Centoya Brown and Brescia Meadows. And so, a black girl poisoning her abuser will be seen as unstable and dangerous and not revolutionary. Clock that. So, in conclusion, so Esther clearly is a mirror of Gilead's violence. But she also there are some narrative choices by putting her in this position that upholds white femininity as the default site of trauma and rebellion. We sympathize with Esther's pain, but are we contextualizing it within the history of the reality of our world? Are we giving the girls who are being harmed in the real world, all of them, not just white girls, all of them, room for the vengeance and the agency that we are giving Esther, this fictional character? Are we giving black girls in the world room for that vengeance when they're harmed? When we think about recently, what's her name? I just did a live about her, that dude in Detroit was sleeping with her and she was 13. And then when he found out she was pregnant, pregnant, he tried to do a abortion on her and killed her at 13 in Detroit. I think it was Detroit. That's recent. I just did a live about it. And so, like a couple of months ago. Yeah, he was her auntie's husband who had already been charged with molesting little girls and got out of jail. He lives with her, and they were texting each other nude pictures, and she's 13 and he's like 40. What is her name? Let me find her so y'all can look her up. I did a live about her. Yes, Naziah. It's Naziya Harris. Naziah Harris. She was groomed by this pedophile dude, and then she got pregnant by him, and he killed her. Yes, Naziah. Naziya Harris. Yah Harris. Naziah Harris. So they have the court recordings on YouTube. So you can watch the court recordings of like her mom, her just people who failed her, all around her. Her grandma, she stayed with her grandma. They knew this man was coming, and it just was crazy. It was they didn't know he was molesting her, but they didn't try to protect her either. So it was weird. It was crazy. So watch that. His sister was on there. It was crazy. But if she had killed, if you have a girl who being harmed and she killed one of these dudes, we're gonna look at her as being traumatized and molested, and they killed. We're gonna try her as an adult. Oh, you killed. Why you didn't go to your parents? Why you didn't go to the people? Because these people ain't protecting me. So if I would slay him because he's harming me, how you gonna think about me? You gonna think I'm a fatherless, delinquent, unstable, crazy killer that should be tried as an adult. But if it was a little white girl, you wouldn't be thinking that. You wouldn't be thinking that at all. You'd be thinking, yes, feminist power. Yes, you fought back and killed your abuser. We don't do that to little black girls. So when we're thinking about this story, make sure we're thinking about the people who we know that Margaret Atwood intentionally is centering white women's story because this is a dystopian that would have killed a lot of black people. But this is a story that's being told to real world people. And so when you are watching this show, I want you to be very, very conscious of who is being erased in this narrative and how we should be centering them. And one of those not one of those people, one of those demographic is black trans and cis women. How are we being harmed by these systems and being erased in this narrative? In this narrative where it's a beautiful story. I love the show. But how can we center the people that these people are erasing in the show in our real lives? It's telling the story, but how a beautiful story, but this is a dystopia that has killed off a lot of black people. So therefore, how in our real lives can we center those stories that are not, if they haven't been killed off yet? They're still going through this patriarchal harm though. How can we center the story of them? And so, yes, darlings, I wanted to talk about Handmaid's Tale this week before it got started on its last and final season. Make sure y'all catch up. Make sure y'all are ready to discuss it when we're ready to discuss it. So I wanted to talk about the past and my favorite three characters being Serena Joy, Commander Lawrence, and Esther. For different reasons. There's a male, there's white femininity, and then you got the male being accountable, but then Esther not being accountable. And I love those kind of characters because Esther hasn't done anything to be accountable for. She's not in any position of power to me. Yes, in her house now that she's maneuvered, but she's a victim in this big old system. So she's not doing anything that she needs to be held accountable for, like Commander. But we need to, like Commander Lawrence, but we need to be very, very conscious of who we give our sympathy to in the real world watching this artful depiction. I want y'all to clock that. So yes, that's what I wanted to talk about today. My three favorites. So, all right, we here. I want it to be under 3 hours. I'm just 30 minutes over, but it's okay. Yay. So make sure y'all thumbs up if y'all enjoyed the conversation. I will chat with y'all. And I hope y'all enjoyed the interview I did with Sebastian, because that fucking episode is old, but I worked so hard to to get that sound right, because that sound was horrible. I had to pay to get somebody to get the sound right because it was like a horrible echo. It was just but they did it the best. They did the best they could. So I hadn't posted it. We recorded that back in like October, late October, right before the election. And I was like, God, the sound is so bad. And we didn't have enough time to re-record it. And it was just such good conversation. So I just went ahead and paid somebody to try to fix it. And they fixed it as much as possible. So I still hope y'all got to enjoy it. Off topic, who do you think should play Storm in the the Marvel comic universe? DeWanda Wise. She is always my favorite Storm. My second choice would be Jodie Turner. Jodie Turner. But my first would be DeWanda Wise. But Joni Turner would be my second. Look at DeWanda Wise. She would eat a storm. I think she would be sickening a storm. She would slay. Now this is Jody. Yeah, look at DeWanda as Storm. A lot of people have said this, but I think she would be perfect. DeWanda as Storm. Oh my god.
Bixby privacy contents have been up.
Close. I also think Jodie Turner. This is Jodie Turner. I think Jodie Turner as Storm would eat. I think she would be sickening. Jodie Turner as Storm. She would eat. Jodie Turner is tall. Storm is tall. And she just gives honey regal fish, child. Sickening. Jodie Turner gives me that. Yeah. I could see her. Like, oh God, look at any one of the DeWanda Wise as Storm. Any type version she could hit. Like, she really could be that sickening Storm. DeWanda Wise and Jodie Turner, they would eat it. Look at DeWanda. She's big. She would eat that. But I think physically, I would want it to be, I think Mug, DeWanda. But physically, I feel like Jodie eats. Yeah, so that's who it would be. Jodie Turner Smith, that's her name, Jodie Turner Smith. So DeWanda Wise and Jodie Turner, that's who I would pick as Storm. All right, well, I'm about to get up out of here. It is 2:00 in the morning. I'm about to take my ass to sleep. But y'all have a wonderful night. Thumbs up if you're watching this late. Thank you for tuning in. I really appreciate y'all. I am excited about this week, about Handmaid's Tale. Handmaid's Tale. This week, 3 things come out that I'm excited about. So before I go, I'm gonna talk about them. Handmaid's Tale come out Tuesday on the 8th. Black Mirror comes out on Netflix on Thursday on the 10th. Black Mirror, new episode, new 7th season. You know, they got 6 seasons. The new 7th season is coming out. So I hope they got something sickening. So Black Mirror is coming out on the 10th. So do y'all watch Black Mirror? Sickening. And last but not least is on the 13th, that Sunday, The Last of Us season 2 is coming out. So baby, within like a week, we're gonna get all of my favorite shows. Wheel of Time just came out. But Handmaid's Tale back and Last of Us is back and Black Mirror is back. So we about to have shows on top of shows on top of shows on top of shows to watch. So now all I gotta wait for is P Valley. Yeah, it comes back on the 10th. Black Mirror comes back on the 10th. Now all I gotta do is wait for P Valley and what other ones? P Valley and something else. There's something else I'm waiting on. But yes. Also, are y'all watching Survival of the Thickest? Their new season just came out this week. I really enjoy it. It's not like super, super great, but I enjoy the world that they're creating on the show. It's cis men that are kind of not bothered by it. It's not these relationship with cis men, straight men, queer men. It's this world that they're creating is so beautiful. I don't know how realistic it is, but I want to say that in certain places of the world, of the country, it might be realistic. But regardless, I want it to be realistic, and I love that they're showing a world that an example of the world that we could be living in if people mind their business, if people saw people as human, if people, you know what I'm saying? I love the world of Friends that that Survival of the Thickest, not Fittest, Survival of the Thickest is creating. So make sure y'all check that out. All right. Bye, y'all.